from SheLovesThee podcast. I'm here with a public service announcement. It is official. SheLovesThee podcast will be sponsored by iWeave Hair for the upcoming 2023 football season. That's right. I will be promoting and representing the #1 source for all your premium quality hair extensions. I'm super excited to be a part of this company that not only has women looking beautiful, but invest in HBCUs. Stay tuned for upcoming deets. And of course, I had to end with iWeave. Do you? Good evening, everybody. Good evening. It's SheLovesThee, and I am here to talk about my poll that I did earlier on Twitter. Folks was mad. They were mad. It's cool when y'all do it, but it's a problem when I do it. What's up with that? Just wanted to preface this with it's just an opinion. It's just an opinion. If you're joining the chat, go ahead and place your top 5 that you have for week 2's poll. Go ahead and place that in the chat. Go ahead and put it in there. And this is a week-to-week poll. A week-to-week poll. So if you do good, week 3, you might be number 1. If you do bad, you might not be in the top 10 at all. I think that's fair. I also think that some folks being in the top, but you guys are out here playing D2s, not a good look, especially if a D2 is able to score on y'all multiple times. I don't think that's a good look. That's not leader of the pack mentality. if you have D2 schools scoring 3+ touchdowns on you. That's just my opinion. Oh, Mr. Campbell wants to say something. Lord. What does Mr. Campbell want to say? What does he want to say? I see a lot of folks trolling in the chat. What y'all trolling me for? About the other day. Why are you guys trolling me about Sunday? I have moved on from that. This is my response to Sunday, and then we're gonna move on. I think I'm gonna go ahead and post my response to that, and then we're gonna move on. Let me see if I can pull it up. My response to Sunday's game. Go ahead and put it out there.
What can you learn? Is there anything that you can learn from it? Just kind of to reflect back on the Orange Blossom Classic.
If we can do the things that we need to do, we'll be successful. The game last year was all self-inflicted stuff. I mean, every single thing that happened to us, all of those things we've had to reevaluate, and we're going to do those things differently this year. And so with our team, we understand that the focus has to be on doing the little things right. You know, that second F in our program is fundamentals. And so those are habits. Those are the little things that it takes to be successful. And so we got to really, really focus on that because the talent is there. And if we do that, we feel like there's not a team on our schedule that can beat us toe to toe if we do those little things right. And so that's the takeaway from last year's game. That's the takeaway from North Carolina as well. It was the same thing. It was self-inflicted wounds that started, in the summertime and transitioned into, the certification process. Some were in our control, some weren't. But we got to control the things that are in our control, and that's our focus and our preparation. So, again, the game happened.
It was all self-inflicted. All of it was self-inflicted. I don't want to hear nothing else because it was self-inflicted. All right. So let me give you a rundown of my polls. So at number 1, I have Morgan State. Let me remove this banner off so you guys can see it. There we go. Morgan State, number 1. They beat a ranked team, Richmond. That was a great game. I think Morgan State, they beat them 17-10. Now, that was a ranked team. Ranked higher, I want to say, than North Carolina Central. But the point is, they ranked a team that's been good, beat a ranked team that's been good for a long time. Number 2 is Howard. Howard had a great showing against Eastern Michigan. If you watched the game, they have some really good running backs. I want to say one of their running backs is actually the son of Edgar James, I want to say. I'm pretty sure Eden James is the son of Edgar James. And he committed to Howard University. And Eden James did phenomenal the other night. If you watch the game versus Eastern Michigan,
He had 9 carries for 96 yards and an average 10.7 yards per carry. So Howard's going to be dangerous in the run game. Lord, Mr. Campbell, we're talking about the polls. We are not talking about that game. All right. Number 3 is FAMU. FAMU was ranked at 24, and they have 10 all SWAC players. They beat Jackson State 28-10. I ranked them number 3 because number 1, they got shut out the whole second half. Number 2, with the type of team they had, it should have been a similar showing of 59-3 versus Jackson State. Based off of the team that you have and all those all SWAC conference players that you had, you definitely should have had your numbers somewhere in the range of 50. And just like Sophia said, if 59-3 last year can be self-inflicted, 28-10 can definitely be self-inflicted. Now, Mr. Campbell, I've made my comment. Let me replay it because I see there's a lot more people in the chat. Let me go ahead and replay it for y'all again. I'm going to just keep playing it. When somebody brings it up, I'm going to just keep playing it.
What can you learn? Is there anything that you can learn from a just kind of to reflect back on the Orange Blossom Classic?
If we can do the things that we need to do, we'll be successful. The game last year was all self-inflicted stuff. I mean, every single thing that happened to us, all of those things we've had to reevaluate, and we're going to do those things differently this year. And so with our team, we understand that the focus has to be on doing the little things right. You know, that second F in our program is fundamentals. And so those are habits. Those are the little things that it takes to be successful. And so we got to really, really focus on that because the talent is there. And if we do that, we feel like there's not a team on our schedule that can beat us toe to toe if we do those little things right. And so that's the takeaway from last year's game. That's the takeaway from North Carolina as well. It was the same thing. It was self-inflicted wounds that started, in the summertime and transitioned into, the certification process. Some were in our control, some weren't. But we got to control the things that are in our control, and that's our focus and our preparation. So, again, the game happened.
Can you guys hear me now? Oh, yeah, I can see my thing moving. Y'all should definitely be able to hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Oh my God, you guys still can't hear me? Okay. Miss Tyra Lynn says she could hear me. Hey, Miss Tyra Lynn. All right, y'all. So, as I was saying, sorry about that. I'm having technical difficulties. They don't want me to get out the truth about HBCU football, So I had some technical difficulties. But anyway, as I was saying, I had FAMU ranked lower because for the amount of
stacked up team that they had and the opportunities that they had. Like, this is the thing. Go back and watch the film. If you go watch it, Musa had a lot more opportunities to get the ball out there, throw the ball, and yet he had similar numbers to quarterback 1 and 2. How do you have that strong of an offense, but you still have the same numbers as Jason Brown and Zy McDonald? How is that possible? I thought JSU was stacked too. What about what's going on, Tigers? How y'all doing after that? We're fine. We are fine. And Mr. Shaka, you absolutely should have. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about these polls and why FAMU is ranked so low. You guys should be concerned that you were scoreless for a second half and got shut out. That should be concerning. And everything else was self-inflicted. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Because it's the truth. Everything was, those mistakes were self-inflicted. The fumble recovery that we all know was not a fumble. If you honestly believe that number 5 did fumble the ball and that he was not already down, put an orange and green heart in the chat. If you honestly believe that he wasn't down, put an orange and green heart in the chat. Y'all know that man was down. And you know that's 7 points. That makes the score 17-28. That right there changed the dynamic of the game right there. How is it possible that Jason Brown had 300 yards less than the previous week? And that wasn't a holding call. It's not an if. It was not a fumble. And you guys know it wasn't a fumble. You know it. Your mama know it. Your grandmama know it. God knows it. The refs know it. I think the refs took the under in the game. The under was 40. It was 47. So the under was 47. So I think the refs must have took the under in that game. Ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way. There's no way that you could honestly say. I mean, Blue, FAMU came over here. We're talking about the polls, and they coming over here talking about Jackson State versus them. I'm going to let them get it out their chest. So for the next 5 minutes, here, I'm going to drop the StreamYard. Anybody that wants to come up here and say something, please. Oop, Israel said all 10 of them. Ouch. Y'all come over here. Let me see if I can put it in here. Y'all come up here and talk your mess so that we can be done with this. I mean, I did do a post-game show with Doc Holliday, and he was there to represent for our Sunday Night Live. But I was in Miami. I'm not finna sit up here. Even if I won, even if we would have won, I wasn't finna sit up there and talk to y'all all night for 2 hours. Let's see. Anybody else want to come up here and talk their noise before we actually talk about something that matters? The polls. The poll for this week. Miss Sophia, as a JSU supporter, I now understand how FAMU felt in 2022, in 2021, in 2018, in 2014. Y'all finally won. Now, congratulations. Mr. EA, I was in the press box. So, yeah, I was in the press box for this particular game. I wasn't out on the field. Uh-oh. What's up?
T,
What's up?
I just want to know, did you enjoy that ass whooping? Mr. Campbell had that liquor for you, didn't he?
No, he didn't. Mr. Campbell didn't have no liquor for me. Mr. Campbell didn't have my sweet spot. Mr. Campbell didn't have none of that. But he did provide me with I weave hair, so I guess that'll make up for it. And I was in the press box. As far as it being an ass whooping, that's a little presumptuous. An ass whooping looks like 59-3.
They took 3 touchdowns back.
28-10 is not an ass whooping. I'm sorry. And
so you guys,
that it's funny. Wait. It's funny that folks are calling 28-10 an ass whooping. And yet last year, if Jackson State scored 28 points and another team scored around 10 to 13 points, it wasn't an ass whooping. But now all of a sudden 28-10 is an ass whooping.
how many touchdowns they took back from us? I want to know that.
Took back? There's no such thing as took back. Either
3
you got
touchdowns
the
they called
touchdown or
back.
you didn't. Either you got the touchdown or you didn't. Which one is it? We can do that all day long.
What happened to Jason Brown and what's his name? Devontae, whatever his name is. What happened to them? I thought he was Mike. Y'all was saying he was Aaron Rodgers last week. What happened?
And he still is Aaron Rodgers. He still is.
We put so much pressure on that boy, they had to take him out the game and put another quarterback in.
Listen. You didn't put pressure on Jason Brown. You put pressure on the O-line. You know what happened to Devontae Davis? You know what's funny? Musa had barely any pressure on him, and he still had just as many yards as Jason Brown and Zy McDonald, right around the same amount. So what's your excuse for that?
He had an off game. I admit that.
Off game? You cannot have an off game. That is the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my whole entire life.
He didn't really need to do that.
The O-line held up for Musa. Musa has absolutely no excuses.
I guess told you he was missing people.
His completion percentage is probably around 55 to 50, between 50% and 55%, and that's the height of his game. Because you guys had no excuse. The O-line held up for Musa. Musa should have 300 plus yards. There's absolutely no excuse. And especially in the second half.
Enjoy being second in the sweat. They didn't know.
No, y'all don't know that if Musa can't play like that for the rest of the season. You over here laughing, but I'm dead ass serious. And Jordan, those were self-inflicted. Oh, wait. What about self-inflicted? Can we call it self-inflicted mistake?
I guess so. Yeah.
Are we allowed to do that? That's what your coach said, that it was self-inflicted.
Hey, I just want to know about them gifts y'all was supposed to have unwrapped. What happened to them gifts?
So, what are you guys gonna do when you get beat by Valley?
That ain't happening.
What are you guys gonna do when you get beat by Valley?
That ain't happening. We might beat USF.
US who?
USF. We're going undefeated. 11-0.
Oh, y'all got the undefeated talk now. Y'all doing the undefeated.
Ain't nobody beating us.
Well, I mean, okay, so here's the thing, which I said with the polls. Which you're gonna drop in the polls when you guys play Western Florida or West.
See, I already got my tickets to Atlanta right now.
Atlanta, you need to be in Tampa. You need to be at
tickets already ready.
West Florida.
We ain't worried about them. We're gonna put our second screen against them.
You need to be worried about them. See, this is the thing. You cannot play D2 schools and let them score and think that you're going to stay high in the rankings. You're not. If you have a D2 school score more than 3 touchdowns against you, you do not deserve to be at the top spot.
Another thing, what was all this big talk y'all was talking about? Oh, we got the #1 recruiting class. What day was that yesterday? What day was that Sunday?
They were like Musa. They had an off day.
Oh, that's what it was. They looked real good against South Carolina State when they played them big boys. Got their ass whipped.
Are y'all supposedly the big boys?
Yeah.
Why didn't you guys score in the second half?
We ain't need to.
You guys didn't need to?
We got the dub. That's all that matter, right?
No, not really.
Oh, wow.
Musa, the FAMU won because of Jackson State's self-inflicted mistakes.
Get used to being second. Prime gone now. Get used to being second.
You would know all about being second. You would know all about it, wouldn't you? You could tell. You know what, Parity? You need to let me know what are the things that we should know about being second, because you're used to that. So please let us know.
Just get ready to watch us in Atlanta. We're gonna finish the job like y'all didn't do.
That's what y'all been doing all these years. The past 2 years, you've been watching us do it.
We're gonna show y'all how to go to. We're gonna show y'all how to go to Atlanta and actually win.
Oh, okay. So as somebody who's been perpetually second, what type of advice could you give the fan base?
Shit, just look forward to the playoffs, because y'all ain't going to the SWAC championship.
That's what you guys been doing the last couple of years, looking forward to.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing, hoping to get in the playoffs.
What else have you guys done, knowing perpetually being second? What else should we know about being second?
I don't know.
You should know. You've been second for so long. You've been playing second fiddle. Give us some advice. Mr. Campbell, give us some advice about being second.
Let my boy Mr. Campbell get on here.
Yeah, well, yeah. Tell Mr. Campbell to get on here so he can tell us about being second. Y'all know okay, so you getting ready to go play USF. Are the big boys gonna win?
I think we're gonna win.
So I can take FAMU money line in the USF game then, right?
If he accurate, we got a chance. I say that.
If he more accurate than on Sunday, because there's no excuse for not being above 60.
If he play like he did Sunday, we'll lose. But everybody else on that schedule, we blowing that shit out.
Oh yeah, FAMU did play really bad against Southeastern Louisiana. I don't see him. He's not here.
Hey, TC Taylor looked depressed at that press conference.
Did he look any worse off than how Coach Simmons looked last year after getting beat and only scoring 3 points?
We didn't have all our players last year.
But how did he look? How did he look?
Look real different when we had all our players playing this year. We had 15 players that was missing.
Why are you watching Coach TC Taylor anyway?
It was on the timeline.
Who was on the timeline?
I'm talking about on Twitter.
Oh, you be following everything Jackson State?
Nah, somebody retweeted it.
Oh, okay. They're from FAMU?
I don't know.
Okay,
hey, why y'all was getting so sensitive?
Who was getting sensitive?
You know what I'm talking about. About the post?
What post?
Now you don't remember. Oh my God.
I don't remember. I've never been
about the player. They said
I've never been sensitive about anything. I've been disrespected. I've been disrespected by people in several different HBC spaces. Well, then what you asking about somebody?
No, you remember the post when those girls were saying, "Oh, y'all bullying the players."
I mean, I don't know. I feel like you should just keep it between fans. Fans should heckle fans, and that's what it should be. Not talking directly to players.
So hey, y'all won that game.
I talk about Musa, but I talk about his stats.
So hey, y'all won that game. Y'all wouldn't have did the same thing. Be honest.
No, what FAMU player am I gonna heckle? No. The most that I'll say is that a player will get the Sonic rings knocked out of them. That is the most that I'll say. Or I will talk directly about their stats. That's it. That's all. I'm not going to talk directly to any players in a derogatory manner or go back and forth with players. That's it.
All right. Look forward to seeing y'all trying to make the playoffs.
Is that all you got to say?
We'll be rooting for y'all.
You're not winning out SPAC East.
Who beating us? I'm trying to figure that out.
Valley's gonna beat you.
Oh, Southern ain't in the East, they're in the West. Valley? Nah.
Valley is gonna beat you. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what made you think that.
They're gonna beat you in Itabina.
That's funny.
We got somebody else coming up here. Shaka. Now, mind you, I ain't never seen none of these folks on my streams ever in life, but they here today. Shaka. What's up, Shock?
How you doing, sweetie?
You gotta move your camera up a little bit so we can see all your different hats.
Oh, you still on that?
You got the rest of your hats? You got them to switch up, or you only doing one today?
I'm just doing one today. I got this down in Miami.
Okay, what kind of hat is it?
A FAMU hat, of course.
Oh, okay.
Take these shades off, because I got my hater blockers on because you seem like a hater this week.
Ain't nobody hating on y'all.
Let me tell you something. First of all, hey, how you doing? Because you've been missing for a long time now.
How have I been missing? I showed up on Sunday.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yes, I
did. No, you didn't.
But I said,
you left your own partner in crime by herself on Sunday because you were too afraid to get on here.
I wasn't afraid. I was in Miami. I'm not.
Now you was in Miami. You was in Atlanta last week. What's the difference?
Exactly.
What was the difference? I literally sat in my car, and I didn't have my friend with me. I brought my friend down to Miami. What do I look like sitting on the live with y'all for 2 hours?
Girl, let's get to the point. You was embarrassed.
It wasn't. And
let me tell you something.
Atlanta, wait, Shaka. In Atlanta, my credentials allowed me to go onto the field before and after the game. The credentials that I had in Miami did not allow for me to do that. I didn't have that. I just had press box credentials. So when I was in Atlanta, I went down to the field. So it was different. It was absolutely different.
Okay. Well, that's your excuse. We'll take it. So
yep.
I'm just gonna go all the way back. So you can end this so you won't have to keep saying we're gonna stop talking about Sunday. And first of all, you talked a whole lot about Jason versus
Jeremy
Musa and
the O-line versus the D-line.
O-line versus D-line. How you guys haven't had any drop off,
right?
Because you're better. You're better this year than you were last year.
Yes.
You did all of that, but I didn't understand the outcome of Sunday's game. If you were
so did you listen to my pregame show?
Yeah, you said something about self-inflicted. So
no, my pregame show. When they asked me, what do we have to look out for? And what I said was, FAMU is going to run the ball. I mean, I don't have the ability to pull up the receipts right now because my computer died, but I can definitely pull up receipts where in my pregame show, literally 45 minutes before kickoff, I said, and not even just then, the pregame show and all of them, I said, FAMU was last in rushing last year. They are going to run the ball. And I said it multiple times. And what did they do? They ran the ball. And what type of sets were we wanting? For whatever reason, a 3-3-5.
Now you talking
Dang,
about
I have
now you second guessing the coaching scheme.
I'm not second guessing their coaching. Am I not stating facts?
But I'm saying they ran the same scheme against South Carolina State. South Carolina State ran the football.
Did I not state facts?
But did y'all stop South Carolina State?
We weren't running a 3-3-5
yes,
or
y'all
a 3-2-6.
Y'all ran the same defense.
We did not run a 3-3-5 or a 3-2-6 until late in the game, after South Carolina State had no way of winning that game unless they threw the ball.
Okay. So that's not your best defense.
Okay, so if you are a rattler in the chat, y'all can go ahead and cash out me $5 to $10. I ain't never seen this many snakes in my life. Where all these snakes come from?
Look, I'll donate to your channel. Don't worry about the money. We got money.
I am scared. I am in a room full of snakes.
You should have been scared on Sunday, because it was about 50 y'all over there on y'all sideline.
JSU fans make excuses for everything.
That side looked empty.
It was about 50 of them at the game. They could have came on one bus.
Oh my goodness! And you know what? There wasn't that many rattlers there, and you guys live in.
Oh, now our whole side was.
What is your excuse?
It wasn't that many FAMU people there.
You should have had 30,000.
Oh, now we should have had 30,000.
Miami is in Florida.
Now we should have had 30,000 people.
Yeah.
We didn't have 30,000 people the past 2 years.
If you don't have 30,000 at that USF game, I'm gonna clown you. Tampa's what? How far is Tampa from Tallahassee? 3 hours?
South Florida's not going to let us have 30,000 people there.
They got tickets for $11, so obviously they're gonna let you. You don't have the same excuse. Miami, number one, the hotels are $200 to $300 a night. Number two, they're gonna hold. I stayed in the Fountain Blue or Fontaine Blue, whatever it's called. They're gonna hold $150 per night on your credit card. On top of that, you're gonna pay a $47 per day resort fee. On top of that, you're going to pay $58 per day for valet parking.
Okay, let me just do this. Let me do this for
valet
you. Timona, let me do this for you. All rattlers right now, send her a couple dollars so she can travel.
But Shaka.
But when you get on these sites here, please stop telling these people foolishness, because we tired of it. We're tired of you coming on here talking about how well y'all gonna do and y'all of this and y'all of that, and you're being biased. You talk through. We know you went to JSU. You talk through JSU eyes all the time. If you're gonna be
I do not.
If you're gonna really talk about sports, yes you do. Because if you're really gonna be honest about how things should play out, you should have been honest from the beginning.
Okay, so how is a person? So this is what you're saying. What you're saying is, Jackson State beat South Carolina by 30 points last week. And you're saying I'm biased because going into the FAMU versus Jackson State game, I said that Jackson State was going to be dominant?
You did.
So how is that being biased?
Because you hadn't even seen FAMU.
Now y'all are being delusional.
Yep. Y'all said I was delusional all week.
That's delusional.
But who came out that made the most sense when you saw the score? Since I was so delusional all week.
28-10 for the opportunities that you had is not good.
We missed them. Listen, we're not. One thing about it is, fam, we can say what we did wrong. Musa did not have a great game, but that's the sad part about it. We had a quarterback that had a horrible game, and we still beat off by 18.
He was average. He had a horrible game. He
used to make those throws that he missed as far as those touchdowns. He used to make those with no issue in practice.
But that's what I'm saying. It was to me, the way I see it was average. Like it was to me, what I saw was average. it was just average play to me. What's going on, everybody?
Right. But I'm saying he did not have a great game, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Why can't your coach said that it was self-inflicted and you were okay with that, but when I say it, it's a problem.
I didn't say I was okay with any of that.
Everybody was making like
that was Coach Simmons. That was Coach Simmons. We got our ass whooped last year. I don't care about no self-inflicted. Look, we got our ass kicked last year, and that was just it. So self-inflicted or not,
what can you learn? Is there anything that you can learn from it? Just kind of to reflect back on the Orange Blossom Classic.
If we can do the things that we need to do, we'll be
better team. We just gonna go back in and pretty much.
What can you learn? Is there any?
I'm bored. And pretty much, I mean, on real, that's what we got to do too. Like, that's our first loss in what? 21 games in conference. So, I mean, what we got to do is just go back to the drawing board, get ready for Southern. That's why I came on to I came on Twitter. I'm like, hey, y'all had a good game. I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all dominated on the special teams. Y'all defense was fast.
They beat out us. They did beat us out. We had a lot of self-inflicted mistakes, but I promise you, FAMU, it should have been similar to last year for Jackson State. They should have had 50 on Jackson State based off of the mistakes.
This is why I will come to defense of Shaka. He did say, especially on Sunday, that they missed some throws, they missed some passes, they missed some runs on the inside or the outside where the game could have just been way out of, out of reach. But
it could have got out of reach in the first half. We missed some opportunities to really put the game out of reach, and we had some field goals blocked, stuff that just didn't work out.
And that's not going to cut it in certain games. It's not.
Well, listen, if y'all were the best team in the SWAC in the last 2 years, and probably the second best team this year, what makes you think those fourth and fifth best teams are going to beat us? That don't have a quarterback, that don't have running. Y'all got to pay them too. So if they're going to beat us, why won't they beat y'all?
Because they're going to translate those mistakes that you made into touchdowns.
So why won't they beat y'all?
The same way that you guys turned our mistakes into touchdowns is the same way that they can do the same for you. Head on the swivel. You guys literally did not score in the second half. And
you keep saying that. Y'all gonna keep that
down. Was number 5 leg down? Was that a fumble?
I haven't watched that game on TV. I was at the game, so I couldn't. They didn't show it on the big screen.
It was a fumble. I'll say that.
Huh?
You was at the
game. It was a fumble, but
I was at the game, so I couldn't see it on my end. We were on the far end by FAMU's band, and that was what happened on the opposite end. But
I ain't gonna lie to you.
They didn't show this. They didn't show it on the video board.
I ain't gonna lie to you. That was clearly not a fumble. I got 4 eyes and I got contacts in here too.
Let me interject.
Say this. Even if they reversed the call, what makes you think y'all would have scored?
Exactly.
We would have definitely scored. All right, let somebody else talk. Who's next?
Let me say this. If you go back and look at the holding call in the third quarter where Sheree had scored and they called a holding call, go back and look, that was bull crap. That wasn't a holding call. That would have been 35 zip. And they called a holding call on the tight end. And if you look at that play, that was not holding. And that would have put us up 35 zip just like that. But let me also just comment on this here. We have been trying to tell you guys that we had a different team, much more physical. The guard center guard combination against your defensive tackles, it was going to be the key. And it held up just what we said. Ken and Zoe even admitted that when they were down on the field, they saw that we were a bigger, more physical, a faster team than JSU. And you could see it. I could tell the difference between the 2021, 2022 teams that you guys had. It's a major difference in the size and the speed that you could clearly see that. So Your defense all-star defensive tackle who was supposedly causing all this chaos with South Carolina State. He was unheard of. We didn't hear anything about him in the game. He may have had a tackle, but she was neutralized.
That was a great battle though.
And if you neutralize him, that sets the stage for us to be able to run the ball. And I think once we saw that we could run the football and Willie stuck with it, that was ball game.
But I'm gonna say to y'all though, that's what Willie wanted to do. Willie ain't never said, y'all talk to Willie all the time. He never said he wanted to be a passing team. He's always been a ball control, run the ball type offense that he had. Even when he was at the offense coordinator at Alcorn. No, when he's Prairie View, and then when he was the offense coordinator at Alcorn, he's never had a, air raid, throw it all over the field type offense. He's always been run the ball, have a good quarterback, make sure you manage the game. And that pretty much that's what Booster did on Sunday, manage the game, make sure that the game doesn't get out, you know what I'm saying? You made sure the game didn't get out of control. Yeah, but last season, I say this: the difference between last season and this season, not just with the players, not just with them having new players, is with the certification. Like, y'all remember they were down. Well, how many that people y'all like 20-something people, right?
Hey, but this the thing, Doc. What a lot of people don't know, in 2021, it just didn't get out. We were down at least 4 or 5 people that it just didn't make it to the papers, but Savion Williams couldn't play. I think we had 3 other guys that had to sit out the 2021 game. So this wasn't a new thing that happened to us in 2022 when we had, that major uproar, but we had that same issue. So that could have been, and Savion Williams was a major player for us going down the stretch in 2021. So that guy, he missed because of certification issue.
But and then here, some runs here, some passes there. It could have changed the dynamic of the game in 21. Now I'm gonna say it just like this: as far as Jackson State goes, man, we just get ready. Look, we took our lumps, move on. We're going down to Baton Rouge to beat the Paisley Blue people down there at Southern University.
Hey, y'all, let me say one thing real quick.
What's up, Mr. Ford?
I'm finna get up out of here. Let me say one thing before I go, y'all.
Now give me my thing. Can you hear me?
Hey, you gonna flag? You can't flag, so you gotta get flagged. You gonna get a flag. You gonna get a flag.
Did you play? Did you play Coach Prime after you got primed by him last year? That's the weirdest thing to me, how you guys call it prime time when Prime was the one that put 59 on y'all. Now you guys want to prime somebody. That don't even make sense. All right, then.
Hey, Mr. Ford.
Hey, I'm still. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you, Mr. Ford.
I know you've been having technical difficulties. Yeah.
Oh, well, Mr. Ford, what did you think about the Jackson State versus FAMU game?
Somebody have a conversation.
No, I'm gonna cook something.
Yeah. Who said he about to cook something? You better put yourself on. Who is that?
Shit, I just finished cooking. I don't know what y'all talking about, man.
Okay, so that's all you guys. I mean, I don't know. From what I heard from y'all, I didn't hear something that was confident as we get ready to put 40 on everybody in the SWAC. And in order to win the SWAC, that's what you're gonna have to do.
Well, you see my shirt. You see my shirt.
FAMU by 40. Oh, so you guys are stealing our wave? Dang.
I mean, it was just it was for a joke, but we can steal it. We can steal it if we want to.
Well, you're gonna have to actually score 40 to do it though, and I don't see that happening with
shots fired.
I don't know if I see that happening now.
Shots fired. Now,
Listen. You can shoot all the shots you want. It don't really matter. You'll see these next games when we play these other opponents. Because I really actually, I give y'all a lot of props. I think Jackson State was probably the best we're gonna see out of the SWAC. I really don't think nobody else is bringing nothing to the table. We have Prairie View at home for homecoming. You already know them boys gonna get up for homecoming. And then we have Texas Southern out there after they.
You guys did schedule 2 D2 schools, so one
no,
thing
we
about
didn't.
it,
We don't have no two schools on our schedule.
Yes, you do.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We have whatever that school
yeah,
is.
you sure do. So
Lincoln,
score
whatever.
80. It better be Florida Memorial type of numbers, or else you're not the best in the SWAC. If you're not putting up Florida Memorial numbers, you cannot be number one on an HBCU poll. If you are supposed to be HBCU champions and you have D2 schools scoring 3 or more touchdowns, you're not going to be number one.
Okay, well, let me just say this. We don't care anything about polls. As long as we're number one at the end of the year, that's what counts.
Yes, you do. Y'all do care about polls.
Why we care about polls? We just trying to get the celebration. We're not trying to go to the playoffs. We're trying to win the Celebration Bowl and be national champions.
Y'all been blowing my Twitter mentions up because I said that FAMU was
because you have a bias
number
poll.
3.
You got Jackson State
how?
You have
how
Jackson
am
State
I biased?
You have Jackson State ranked number 4, and they lost by 18 to us. And we don't even move up.
You guys are a top ranked FCS team, but you guys didn't score the whole.
But you guys scored 10 points, and you still ranked number 4.
Absolutely, we're ranked number 4.
Why would you be ranked higher than NC Central?
Because they played a D2 school, and the D2 school scored 3 touchdowns.
But that's the same team that beat y'all last year. Beat y'all. So why would you be ranked higher than them?
We didn't play Winston-Salem State.
I said that's the same team that beat y'all in the national championship last year,
and
they haven't lost the game.
The one that South Carolina Central beat, that we beat by 30.
Oh, you got to every year, son, Timona.
No, you're going around the meal, so I'm gonna go.
No, I'm not going around the meal. I'm saying, why would you still be ranked number 4?
Why
what
would
you ranked before then?
Number 4. We went over
What were you ranked before then?
Aren't you a top ranked FCS team?
Okay, what were you ranked before then? What were you ranked last week?
I didn't do my rankings last week.
So y'all came in at number 4.
But if I was going to do my rankings based off of last week, off of South Carolina State's performance, being that everybody else played, FBS teams? Or you guys didn't play at all because it was week 0.
Right. I'm just saying, what y'all came in at number 4 is what you're saying?
This week is the week that I did a poll. I didn't do a poll last week.
So you basically
this week. Wait. This week, North Carolina Central played Winston-Salem State, which is a D2 school. That D2 school put up 3 touchdowns on them. That's not a number 1 team to have a D2 school be able to score that many points on you. No, you're not going to be ranked number 1. Number 1 is Morgan State because they beat Richmond, which was a highly ranked FCS team. Number 2 was Howard, who played really tough with Eastern Michigan. Could have possibly won that game. They had a bad call on them. 2 penalties that put them at 2nd and 35. And, and then FAMU comes in there. And how am I biased if I put FAMU above Jackson State? How is that being biased?
No, for Jackson State to even be in the top 10 is biased.
Well, let me tell you what I got on mine, though.
North Carolina, listen, if you play a D2 school, if you're just in FCS, if you're just in it in general, when you play D2 or somebody looks at your strength of schedule, you're usually not ranked high at all when you start playing D2 schools, especially if D2 schools rank tough. If you go play West Florida and you beat them, but they score heavily on you or the score is not that high, they are going to lower your ranking.
Could care less.
That's why you don't play D2 schools. That's why
could care less.
You guys going to the playoffs last year, you weren't able to go because of your strength of schedule and how Jackson State beat you. You only had 2 teams beat you, North Carolina and Jackson State.
Well, that's why our schedule changed this year because we don't.
It was
Our
worse.
intentions are not to go to the playoffs.
It doesn't
Right.
matter what your intentions are. I'm talking about as far as rankings. If
We don't
a
care about the
team-
rankings.
They
As long as
don't
we're
care
ranked
about the
number one,
rankings, Simona.
as long as we're ranked number one at the end of the year.
Shaka, you just asked me about why I rank somebody this, and I'm telling you why. If you play,
No, I said why you rank Jackson State at number 4. I don't care what you rank us because it doesn't really matter.
You said why I didn't rate North Carolina Central. You just asked me that, Shaka, and I said
I said why was Jackson State number 4 is the first thing I said.
Right, and then you asked me about North Carolina Central. You don't even be knowing the own question.
North Carolina Central, Hampton, any of those teams should have been above y'all.
So no, they shouldn't have. We're 1-1. We've played one more game than everybody else. Is another. We've also played one more game other than anybody else on the board. We've had 2 games.
Well, let Doc give us his
and
top,
we're not
top 10.
and Mr. Rosier is talking about D2 in 2021. We're in 2023. When you have FCS and they're doing their rankings, if you play a D2 school, and we're talking about poll wise, you're going to be lowered in the rankings. You're going to be even lower if a D2 school either beats you or puts a lot of points on you. So yes, I took North Carolina Central as not number 1. Just like when you guys play West Florida, you need to have Florida Memorial numbers. I know you said you don't care about the rankings, but people are going to do rankings every week. And if you don't put up 86, that's how I feel.
Let me say this, and I'm going to get off. The great thing about this as a FAMU supporter, Coach Simmons has a history of his teams gets better as the season goes on, and they're playing their best football towards the end of the year. So this is very, very scary for the SWAC. And as far as if he has them clicking now, and as we get into November and late November, that's the most important thing as far as for us getting on to the Celebration Bowl and not just getting there, winning it. So we're playing against North Carolina Central, whoever it may be, as long as we're playing our best football at the end of the year, that's the most important thing. And he has a very, very good history of doing that, going all the way back to Prairie View. His teams really, really start to get going. And if he's already got us halfway going there now, that's going to be a scary proposition for the opponents coming up. So I will say this, and that last thing, Timona, are we a better football team than Jackson State?
No.
All right. I'm out.
Self-inflicted. No disrespect to FAMU. They're a great team. Jeremy Musa is a great quarterback, but it was all self-inflicted mistakes. You know, we had some issues on special teams that we needed to work on. We had some boneheaded mistakes. We had some penalties that shouldn't have happened. It was all self-inflicted. That's my story. And I'm sticking to. Thank you, Coach Simmons, for your words.
Let me just say this one last thing, but this also too.
EA, let some other people talk, man. Come on, EA, let some other people talk.
I'm gonna say this and I'm out.
I'm gonna get my let me tell you what my poll. I know you did yours. I did mine earlier. So of course I mean North Carolina Central, I put them at the top. I mean, if ain't nobody gonna beat them, they're gonna be at the top. I put FAMU at number 2 because of course y'all came in, y'all dominated in the first half. I mean, now I can say, you know, I can flip-flop between FAMU and Morgan State, but I put FAMU at number 2. I put Morgan State at number 3 because yes, they had the win over Richmond. The only issue about that is with Morgan is their quarterback issue. That's all I say about that. Prairie View at number 4 because they went down, being down 17, and you coming back and score and tying the game in the fourth quarter, and then going into overtime and kicking, driving the team down the field, kicking a field goal to win the game in Houston. That's tremendous right there. Trayvon Conley looked like an actual quarterback on Saturday. Alabama State, of course, Bubba came, we talked, when I talked to Bubba, he already said his number 1 goal for the first game of the season was to dominate on defense. They did that. They held Sutter to a little bit over 200, probably about 220, 230 overall, total yards overall. Made Harold look inconsistent. Short, stop the run. Hey, I give them, they at number 5. Hampton jumping out on Grambling early in the game and did not let up when Grambling made their, said their comeback. Played a lot into that game right there. They got the. Of course, I put us at 7 because we made a lot of mistakes. Special teams was horrendous on Sunday. Horrendous. Left tackle play is atrocious. Now, you already know we JSU through and through, but I gotta call a spade a spade. Our left tackle situation needs to be rectified. It got to be rectified ASAP. Especially by the time we go into that Texas State game. We got to rectify that. We got to rectify that issue. Howard at number 8, even though they went up to Eastern Michigan and they put up a good fight, it was bad calls and some untimely throws by Quentin Williams that kind of put them back in the hole. But I look at them for next week. Whoever they play next week, I look for them to rebound and improve and try to get their first win of the season on Saturday. Texas Southern, number 9. Andrew Body played out of his mind on Saturday, but the 2 costly interceptions to me killed the whole momentum of the game. And I'm questioning the play calling, coming in from the OC. To me, at that time, if I'm McKinney, I'm taking over the play calling. I'm not calling no type of pass or nothing like that. You got a 17-point lead. I'm running the ball until you can actually stop it. And then I got Grambling at number 10. Like I said, with Grambling, they basically just they started out slow, but they made their way back up. Miles Crawley looked like an actual quarterback, looked like the quarterback for them going forward. And that's my top 10 right there. Now, with my consideration, for honorable mention, I wouldn't even put Southern at honorable mention. I'll take Southern out, and I put Valley as my honorable mention. Only reason why I put Valley my honorable
Valley
mention,
that got beat by oh Lord.
But let me tell you, because I watched the game. They were clicking on all cylinders on offense. Defense is a question on their back end, meaning their DBs were getting torched by Central State. Plus, they had issues with special teams too. Even though Central State didn't score nothing on special teams, they put themselves in situations in great field situations where they shortened the field. They didn't have to worry about trying to go long distance to score. And then I got Alcorn and A&T, but both of them play FBS schools. So,
all right, Mr. Ford, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, how you doing?
All right, congratulations to Florida A&M and the big victory and the win for them on Sunday. I still think what Florida A&M has introduced to the conference this year is parity. I do not believe that they got the conference won.
Wait, whoa. Say that again, Mr. Ford.
I said, I do not believe that they have the conference won. I think that they brought parity into the conference. Now, one thing I got to give them credit for, Willie has definitely redone that team. I was so impressed with Florida A&M's offensive line. I'm serious, y'all. I knew he had went and got some people, but they are deep on that. He played 3 centers Sunday. I know some of y'all that don't mean nothing to you, but he played 3 centers.
They had different packages.
Doc, you about to say something?
No, they had different packages.
Yeah.
That's the reason why he did it.
So, Mr. Ford,
Yeah,
can you give us a rundown on your thoughts about the FAMU versus Jackson State game? Do you think a lot of Jackson State had a lot of self-inflicted mistakes?
yeah, but the main thing, Jackson just didn't answer the bell. The only
Oh man, Mr. Ford, we can't hear you.
He probably got
A phone call.
Uh-oh.
You breaking up, Mr. Ford? Those it must be the rattlesnake. I don't usually have this many snakes in my it's got to be the snakes.
You're gonna put it on us.
It's the
Now
snake.
we should see what happened. We should see what's going to happen in week 2. I mean, fam, y'all got South Florida. I mean, you already know what I say. Get your money and go home.
Yeah, right. But if we lose to South Florida, Timona probably gonna drop us all the way out the poll.
No, I didn't say that. Why would I say that?
I
said D2. Now that don't even make sense. Why would I drop you out of the poll if Howard just played Eastern Michigan and they're ranked high? And
and Lincoln's not even D2, are they? Lincoln's not D2, are they?
What are they? High school?
No.
Yeah, they're not even NAI, are they?
So who are y'all playing, Shaka?
I'm not sure.
They better not score a touchdown. You should
I'm
be.
not sure what Lincoln is.
You should be putting in your water boys to play on that field, and they still better not score a touchdown.
We just needed a home game, so
I just know they're from California, right? Aren't they?
Yeah, right.
From California.
Mr. Ford, did you see my rankings? What do you think about my rankings, Mr. Ford?
Okay, that's what I'm looking at now, right?
Yeah, I had Morgan State at number 1. I got Morgan State at 1.
Well, you know, to me now, Central. Yeah, but now Central's a champion until they're beaten. I believe that Central should still be number 1. Central should be number 1.
Central played Winston-Salem State.
Yeah, I know.
And they had 21 points scored on them. And they're
the defending national champions. To me, you don't take the champion down until they lose a game.
Yeah, if you're playing
now, they defending that.
If you're playing D2 schools, and those schools are scoring more than 3 touchdowns, then you're not a championship team anymore. There's no excuse for having a D2 school score 3 touchdowns on you. There's no excuse. None whatsoever. And that's the same for any team. It doesn't matter if Jackson State played Delta State and almost got beat. We're talking about 2023. If you're playing a D2 team and they score multiple touchdowns on you, it needs to be like how Southern did Florida Memorial. It needs to be 86-0 if you're the championship team. So FAMU, when they play Lincoln and when they play West Florida, you guys have to be dominant. But they said they don't care about the polls, which is fine. It's just the opinion. But what I said was, if you're playing a D2 school, you have to be dominant. It has to be 50 or 60 points up on that team. And there's no such thing as mercy football. We don't do that. You need to play dominant. That's how I feel.
Here in the state of Texas, it's called mercy. We got mercy football. I seen the team get beat to sleep by 100 points.
You have what? Didn't what team was that just got beat by Ohio? Was it Arkansas State that got their ass beat so bad? Oh my God. It was like 96-0 or 76-0.
81. It was 81-7. That was it wasn't Ohio State. That was
Ohio. Then it must have been Ohio.
No,
it was somebody versus Arkansas.
It wasn't Ohio. It was Arkansas State. It was shoot. I just seen it.
It was either Ohio or Ohio State.
No, Ohio State played Indiana this past weekend.
Oh, well, what I'm saying is That's how you need to play.
It was Oklahoma.
It was right. It was so bad that the coach was crying. But what I'm saying to you is this. There's no such thing as, oh, we're going to have mercy on you. And FAMU was trying to score on Jackson State in the fourth quarter. So let's not act like, let's not do this, oh, we're going to have mercy. Nah, ain't no mercy. I want you to feel it.
Oh, I'm not going to say we weren't trying to score, but we did dial down the play caller. We didn't try to throw the ball as much. Which we had a lot of
because you didn't try to throw the ball as much because Musa was doing terrible.
But I'm saying we could have kept the air raid going though. We did.
It wasn't no air raid. You guys
all our touchdowns in the first half was passing touchdowns except for one. In the kickoff,
it was only two. Yeah, two. Yeah.
We had two passing touchdowns.
You guys stopped doing the passing because Musa was getting inaccurate. He had a lot of missed passes that were wide open.
But I'm saying we could have kept passing the football. We could have kept passing the football.
No, you could not have.
But you guys couldn't stop us running the football.
Here was my philosophy on that. If you up by at least 2-3 touchdowns, you run the ball. You run the air out the ball. You burn the clock because and second of all, you still, in a sense, you still use tempo. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're trying to tire that defense out, and y'all can run. I mean, what I seen Sunday, y'all run the ball out of so many different formations, either from the eye, from under the center, shotgun, pistol, it was like y'all were getting 4 or 5 yards off the rip. But I'm gonna say it like this with Jackson State. Get out of that 3-3-5 defense. I hate that damn defense.
Mr. Ford's not on right now. He has to call back in.
Well,
when Mr. Ford comes back on, we'll let him talk, but his phone got disconnected and he has to call back in. Mr. Walker, what's up, Mr. Walker?
Hey, what's going on? What's up?
How you doing?
I'm well. Yeah, back in Memphis. Well, my analysis on the game, Jack State, we got punched in the mouth. We lost in 3 phases. We lost special teams. We lost with short fields. And then also we lost doing basically we came out spirited the second half, but a couple things happened, and then at the end we got deflated. But the biggest key was to me with this game was they actually targeted the blind side. And see, when you target that blind side, when you know that, because it was obvious. I mean, if you look at the tape, I mean, the weak link was, the guy.
Cameron James.
James. And you watch film, you will see that there was problems on the blind side. But and then we actually went away, from our scheme, using the tight ends. So that was kind of that hurt us a bit. And also we didn't correct the red zone scoring. And in games like that, that's very pivotal, because it wasn't so much that we were getting dominated. It was because it was the nuances of the game that they were prepared in, especially the special teams, because Musa was still, Musa. I mean, Musa has talent, but the only thing is, he just has, they're correctable. Some of his flaws are correctable. And it's kind of shocked me that Willie, being a former QB himself, hasn't corrected, putting touch on the ball, learning how to take off, learn how to take off the spin, learning how to, throw a down spin, knowing how to throw a proper out. But he has the arm talent because, he can spin it. He really can. And that came a lot with the underthrows and the overthrows. But like I said, it was Jackson State lost because of situational football. That's my critique on it. As far as your polls are concerned, I'm gonna have to agree with Mr. Ford, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because you can't. It's like you can help who you play, but you can't help who you play sometimes. But number two, I would have FAMU. Number three, I would have actually, I know this may shock some people, but I would have number three, JSU. Number four, we can go ahead and go with Howard, but but really I want to put PVU there, Prairie View there, because, and no disrespect to all the Graham fam, Howard just beat Hugh Jackson. I mean, that's, I've been saying it for years and years and years and years till I'm blue in the face. Hugh Jackson is the problem. I'm sorry. I have been around him. I don't even want to pick a guy like that brain because I would actually laugh at him. But that's just the problem. Crawley played a great game. You could tell by the new offensive coordinator that they actually, been working with him. But the only thing was, if you look at Howard's defense, it was atrocious. It was atrocious. So so I couldn't really just put Howard above PV because of that. But I'll say Howard number 5. And everything else is kind of like up for grabs. It's like I want to believe in Grambling. I want to believe in Grambling because they have the athletes. You have the preseason SWAC player, defensive player of the year, Sunday out of Anderson. You have that guy. But it's that omen, man, that's called Hugh Jackson. I'm sorry. I apologize if I'm offending somebody, but that guy's just an omen, man. Everywhere he goes, he finds some kind of way to lose. I've never understood it. I've never understood how he's gotten job after job after job. Well, actually, I do understand because he's a great interviewer. Because I've heard him interview. He'll make you think that he played for Newt Rockne from Notre Dame. You would think, if you listen to him for 5 minutes, you would think that, he actually taught Tom Landry if you listen to him. But as far as implementation, no. He's killed a bunch of quarterbacks' careers, a bunch of them. And he's taking credit for helping quarterbacks. But, it's everybody can't be lying because Carson Palmer doesn't like him. There's a lot of guys that just don't like him, because it's that bad omen. But, that's what I would say as far as everything. I think Alcorn should be higher because I think they can beat Texas Southern. I think they can beat Texas Southern. Matter of fact, I know they can.
Based off of their performance with Alcorn, based on their performance with Ole Miss, you think so?
With USM, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They can beat them. Yeah, they can beat them because they'll be able to run the football, and then they have a option based quarterback that will kill Texas Southern, and then I guess you could say as of right now, you can say it's even. Because it's going to come down to whether Andrew Body can can throw for at least 70% of his complete 70% of his passes. And based on historical facts, he's around that 47, 50-ish, which you really can't do in the SWAC. So that's just my take on it. But like I said, no disrespect to Graham, it's just Hugh Jackson to me. I think that's just, the weak link. Now, as far as Jackson State, I just think they should have run like a dual tight end set. You could have run, a 12 pack. I mean, there's a lot of things that Jackson State didn't do because they didn't respond to getting hit in the mouth when the guy first, when Marcus Riley took off, the first play of the game. And you have to respond a little better than that. But actually, they drove the ball right down the field, but it came back to red zone, which, is kind of been like a deficiency. If Jackson State doesn't score from the 40 and out or the 30 and out, it's like they begin to have kind of red zone deficiencies when the other defenses kind of lock up a little bit. So, stuff like that can be worked on. But as far as Musa, it's just stuff it's just little nuances that he can work on. Like I said, if he can work on throwing like a sidearm, out, but he needs to get better with his tomahawk throw, meaning that you have your elbow straight to your face guard and you throw the ball out like you're doing a tomahawk chop. That's what all the greats, they can actually execute that throw. And like I said, just little nuances, just football nuances that, that I've seen. And like I said, it was special teams, it was that 3-3-5 with that 3-down lineman. I just don't know why that was called at any point in the game, especially with the team that has, the smallest running back is 6'2", is 6'1", 210. And you got a guy that's 225, you got a guy that's 235. Like, I mean, you cannot run you cannot run a 3-3-5 against that, because the thing about it is they're gonna shoot through the gaps. And so, like I say, it was just football nuances. Man for man, I don't think, I'm not being biased either. I don't think that FAMU was just that much better.
I agree. I agree.
I just think it was game plan, because they looked at the deficiencies and they took advantage of it. Because if that's the case, they didn't go the entire field but one time. The rest of the time it was all short field stuff. So, which, a great team like a FAMU can capitalize off a short field. Just the same.
I think one thing that I did
Mm-hmm.
mention with OG,
Mm-hmm.
on OG Strike Zone right before the game, I mentioned, and I'm getting ready to let Mr. Campbell share his thoughts. I know he wants to get in here and say something, but I mentioned and I said, a couple of things. I said, whoever capitalized off of the mistakes of the other team is going to be able to win. And I also said that I felt like FAMU was going to run the ball a lot because they were last in rushing last year, and they have they went ahead and recruited some running backs, and I felt like it was going to be a more run-heavy situation. And sure enough, the two things in which I stated during that live, which was whoever capitalized off of the mistakes is going to be able to win the game, and that FAMU was going to be running the ball. So those were two things that I had pointed out, and those were two things that had ended up happening. So, Mommy, hang on just a second. Mr. Campbell's getting ready to get on. Let me see. Okay. All right, Mr. Campbell, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, listen, let me first of all give you your flowers, and to the JSU people, relax.
Tamona has been amazing with the FAMU people. She's in on the joke. Chad Ochocinco basically retweeted Tamona to 10,000 people. So Tamona is well loved with the FAMU folks. As you can see, all my FAMU brothers come on her show, not disrespecting her like other schools. We ain't gonna say who, but we know who they are. So again, y'all just relax. We're having a good time, and Tamona is in on the joke, and she's been a very good sport. So Tamona, we appreciate you allowing us having our fun. But I wanted to say that because once again, people just need to relax because I want them to know that you are well protected from the FAMU rallies. You know, we got your back and stuff like that. Now, with that being said, let's just go over a few things.
He about to let his snake hang.
Hey, listen. Jason Brown, Sonic rings knocked out. That's your turn, right? Them Sonic rings, we picked them all up on the field. So that's first thing. You, Doc, Zoe, y'all said that we didn't know. We didn't know. They don't know. Well, we told y'all know now. Because you talked about all the all-conference players, saying they shouldn't have been on the all-conference team. And all I know is the guys that were on the all-conference team actually made touchdowns and plays. That's the reason why they were on the all-conference team. And you saw when Marcus Riley was on the all-conference team for the very first play. But y'all didn't know. So it ain't no problem. Y'all didn't know. No problem. Second thing, I don't care. I'm like Shaka. We don't care nothing about their schedule. We can have 8 D2 teams. We want to win the SWAC. Point blank, period. Celebration Bowl or bust. And what I'm going to say is this is what I do wish Willie was like Deion. Because one thing about Deion, when he had his foot on your neck, he tried to break your neck. I wish Willie would have had the same mentality against y'all Sunday. Because there were opportunities to run that score up, and he should have ran the score because you don't give anybody any hope. You don't give anybody any hope. So that's the thing about it. So we didn't run it up. We should have ran it up. We should have scored 60.
What did Mr. Ford say? Mr. Ford, what you
said Musa missed 5 touchdown passes, wide open touchdown passes.
Exactly. We should have, and I'm gonna take exactly. Musa, and I'm gonna say this again, is not a good quarterback as of right now. Point blank, period. He ain't a good quarterback. And I don't think anybody's on FAMU side because if this is my point, you cannot play like that and be a championship team.
Thank you.
That's a fact.
Thank you.
You cannot play like that and be a championship team. But I will say, like y'all said, that was our first game.
Yeah.
So that was our first game. And we dominated on the defensive side of the ball. And I'll take that first. The offense can catch up. The offense can catch up. So, Tamona, listen, I appreciate you. I'm going to let you have your show back. You can go ahead and show your slides and all that and stuff. Cause I know you had all the slides prepared. So you can go ahead and show your slides. But, Mr. Ford, I am going to say one thing to you, though. Don't ever disrespect them Rattlers anymore like you did with these folks.
They never disrespect them.
No, because I was disappointed in you, Mr. Ford. You was drinking that JSU Kool-Aid, too. Talking about the lack of talent that we had. I hear you every night. So I'm going to tell you this. You need to be worried about what's going on down there on I-20. Because I don't know how many games y'all going to win.
Better. We done found us our prototype quarterback. Listen, them G-men ready to roll, baby.
Okay. All right. All I know is, but you can't roll by losing now.
Not with Hugh Jackson.
You can't have no moral victories, Mr. Ford. Moral victories don't get you into the SWAC championship.
It's gonna be between us and Prairie View. It's gonna be between us and Prairie View for that West.
Cause it's been y'all been got evicted about the last 5 years, man.
Oh yeah, we ain't been right since Dooley left as our offense coordinator. We ain't been
right since Devontae Kincaid left.
They left together.
Mr. Ford, you see how FAMU's letting their snake hang after they finally won after all these years?
Listen, you know what? And I'm gonna tell you something. I truly believe if Musa doesn't get better, I think they're gonna snatch him. Because to be honest with you, he throttled that offense Sunday. Like you said, they left at least 45 touchdowns on the table. 45. I mean, them guys was wide open that he was missing. I don't think Willie gonna go with that. I don't think he's going to let him throttle that team again. Because they got some people in that quarterback room that can play.
Wide open against the deepest defensive back room in the SWAC.
But not one thing I did say, and this is what I was so impressed with, was that during offensive line. When they say Willie went and redid that offensive line, I told y'all early, he played 3 centers Sunday. I know some of y'all that don't know football don't know what that means. He played 3 centers. That offensive line is stacked. I'm talking about they 3 deep.
And each time he rotated his center guard combination and even his tackle combination, it seemed like they didn't miss not one beat.
Okay, like but Mr. Ford, so if they have an offensive line like that, and then Moose is playing average, what was the excuse?
Well, like I said, either Moose is going to get better or he's going to be benched. He's going to be benched because he was right. Now, they jumped off and scored 28 points in the first half. They didn't score any more points in the second half, right?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we had 2 touchdowns called back.
Out the blue. I don't mean to interrupt you. Yeah, I put Morgan State up in the top 5, Blue. Yeah, I'm impressed with Morgan State. Yeah, I put them in the top 5.
Because, see, I know about the Richmond Spiders. I remember when they won the 1AA championship under Mike London. That's a football FCS powerhouse, Richmond Spiders. Now, y'all don't remember Johnny Newman. He was a basketball player. I think he came out of there and went to the Knicks. That's from the Patrick Ewing era. But, yeah, that was an impressive win. I don't know the last time Morgan State had a win like that now.
5 sacks, 4 turnovers, held them to 260 yards total offense. Yeah, that's
they got a better coach. You could tell they got a better. You could tell they got a better.
You talking about Damon Wilson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw Damon Wilson a couple of years ago against Valdosta State. He know what he's doing. He know what he's doing.
But the biggest thing is to have Anton Sewell up there with him, man, as a defensive coordinator. But the only question mark about Morgan State is their quarterback.
And one thing I want y'all to stop saying, Howard can't beat Florida A&M. I know them programs. Howard cannot beat Florida A&M, so y'all stop saying that. And don't ever put Howard over Florida A&M. That ain't happening.
But that's what she did in her poll. But let me say this.
I sure did, and I'll do it again.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Let me say this, Mr. Ford.
No, I think Florida A&M is better than Howard tomorrow.
Yeah, always have been.
I really do.
Howard had a run with Steve Wilson. And by the way, y'all, did y'all hear that crazy boy on the broadcast? Somebody need to write a letter on Jay Walker because he's getting ridiculous.
Can I get a word in?
What did he do, Mr. Ford? What did he do?
You didn't hear him saying about Florida A&M? He said that she was saying, where Florida A&M could be the front runner now that they beat Jackson State. Oh no, they're Florida A&M. They'll do something to mess it up. I was like, you know what? That's just straight jealousy, though. That's all that is.
I got a question for y'all. And it's not pertaining to Jackson State because we still talk about polls and stuff, right? So, if you got a 17-point,
whatever
you as an OC or the head coach, what is your play call supposed to be?
17 points.
You up 17 points in the fourth.
Oh, you running? You running the ball? You trying? You clock managing?
You're air raiding it out because Jackson State beat you 59-3 last year.
Oh no, I ain't talking about. I ain't talking about that. I ain't talking about FAMU. I'm talking about between Prairie View and Texas Southern. If you're a Texas Southern, you're up 17 points. The score is 34-17 going into the fourth quarter. What is your play call supposed to be?
Clock management. You're trying to run the ball.
So tell me why in the hell did Andrew Body, and I don't be critical about, I'm not critical about him all the time, but why in the blue hell are you throwing the ball and you cost your team 2 turnovers with 2 interceptions?
The offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Because he's the one that's calling the play calls, right?
Yeah.
So he's the one that's trying to do that's still throwing the ball instead of running it.
Okay,
that's not on Andrew Body.
So, but also, if if I'm Clarence McKinney, whatever the offensive coordinator bringing it to the field, if it's a pass, I'm vetoing that, and I'm just like, no, we running the ball. Because now, to me, this is what you as the head coach need to take over the game. Like, okay, if you can get and looking at that game, when I looking at that game, the Darius Owens was getting like 4 or 5 yards a pop. So you going into 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4, or if you go to 3rd and 4, 33 or 32, I'm running the ball. Like, because they couldn't stop it. Like, they could not stop the run the whole time. So I'm just, I asked myself the question over this weekend, like, why did he throw those two? My thing is, why throw those 2 interceptions late in the middle of the 4th quarter, and then Prairie View turned those turnovers into, into
That's
touchdowns.
the offensive coordinator's fault.
I mean,
you can't
yeah.
There's no reason for you to do that.
He couldn't handle the success. I saw some of that game too. But I was really impressed with Prairie View that they came back.
Well, let me give another opinion on this.
Somebody got an echo.
Yes,
because here's my problem with this. Andrew Body is a junior quarterback that has started for 3 years.
Right.
You should be able to give your junior quarterback plays down the distance to be able to throw the ball. You can't be babying him anymore. Those 2 interceptions were bad throws. That had nothing to do with play calling. Those were just bad throws. And Andrew got to own that point blank period, because you got to be able to make throws. And he didn't make the throws. That's on him. So I can't blame the offensive coordinator when I got a junior that I know knows the offense, that has been in his offense, and should be able to make. And like I said, again, these weren't no difficult throws. These were throws that were set up for him, and he just threw it into the guy's hands.
But when FAMU
Just period. So you got to own that. So I'm sorry. Now you can't have like I say, and like I said, I text Andrew. So this is no secret. But when you have a junior quarterback, that's what you expect them to do. You expect them to make plays. You expect them to be able to throw the ball and not throttle them down. No different than what we're going to be expecting from Musa. We can't be hiding you if we want to be a championship team. If they want to win the West, that kid has got to make throws.
Yeah.
But Mr. Campbell, to that, when they saw that Musa was not converting those open passes to actual catches, what did they do? They started just running the ball.
Yeah, but we were up 20, but we were up the game. The game was over. That game was still in play.
Not over. The game was
that game was over after halftime. It
absolutely wasn't over. And especially right before the game was over, once they called that fumble and they basically said, oh yeah, it is a fumble, and they reinforced that it was a fumble instead of saying that his
Musa still threw the ball though, Simona. He threw the ball in the second half. That's why 2 of them touchdowns, those were on throws. 2 of them touchdowns. And then when we got down there and we got the kick block, that was off of throws. So he threw the ball in the second half.
Well, I want to say that I think that Zod McDonald guy should deserve more playing time. I saw a spark with him. I think he should get in the ball game a little bit more. They should put some packages together because he's definitely a dual threat. He can run and throw. And Sunday, that was really the only time I saw spark was when he was at quarterback. Doc, what you got to say about that?
I mean, Jason Brown is not a mobile quarterback. And for this particular, the way that FAMU's defense was playing, they were playing because they knew that Jason Brown is not a mobile quarterback. They also knew that they could basically exploit that left tackle.
Yeah, you're right. Because I watched it this year from what Blue had said. That big guy from Minnesota, he might be a better guard than he is a tackle. He's not nimble enough to be a tackle because quicker people going to beat him every time.
And there's nothing wrong with having a pocket passer. There's nothing wrong with it. You just have to have a strong offensive line. So for this,
they got to get that left side straightened out.
And then Jason Brown hurt his hand. His hand was hurt, or his finger was hurt. So And if you guys want to look at the stats for that game, Musa and Jason Brown and Zy McDonald all had the same. Jason Brown, Zy, and Musa all had relatively the same stats for that particular game with regard to
Their stats
passing
was
yardage.
the same as Moose's.
Yes, and Musa
What
had
was Moose's?
a offensive line. Let me
Read
pull it.
Moose's stats for the game.
Oh yeah,
What was Moose?
I'm gonna pull
Yeah,
it up.
read Moose's stats for the game. Because if I had to grade him, the highest I could give him is a C-. He was terrible.
Yeah, Jeremy Musa and Jason Brown had the same amount. And mind you, Jason Brown could not keep from getting quarterback hurries. So that's why when they were saying stuff about Jason Brown and commenting on his play, he had the same amount of yardage as Jeremy Musa, and they didn't even have that good of an offensive line for Brown to stay up as far as like that left tackle.
What was read Moose's stat line?
All right, it's coming up. He had 150 passing yards and 2 touchdowns.
How many attempts?
Let's see. 12 completions out of 22 attempts.
I thought it was worse than that.
For 54.5%. You
Okay.
said you thought it was worse.
Yeah, I thought it was worse. I'm telling you, the highest grade I could give him was a C-. That's the highest grade I could give him.
He had a good offensive line though.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Now, one thing, Coach, you got to give Coach Simmons credit for now. All them people that he went and got in that portal, them people are paying off. From what I saw Sunday, especially on that offensive and defensive line, them people are paying off. You can see what he was doing.
Hold up, Mr. Ford. Let me say this. Now, just last week, oh my God, this is just killing me. Just last week, y'all had the best offensive line ever. Y'all had problems at left tackle, but everybody else was good. Everybody else was good. Y'all offensive line was.
And everybody else was good this time too.
No, they wasn't.
Well, let me say this. I hadn't seen FAM at the time. Now I hadn't seen him.
Our defensive line dominated across the board. It wasn't just one side. Our defensive line dominated across the board. We had multiple people in the backfield. Actually, the problem was our defensive line reset y'all offensive line. Our whole defensive line was in the backfield.
Yeah, that's true.
Y'all got more problems than the left tackle.
No, I think the one that they got to work on is that left tackle.
No, Coach.
I watched him. No, you got what you see that kid right there. He's a big kid. Been on the FBS level. But see, the thing is with that kid, he's not nimble. That kid's not nimble. And that kid is going to always have a problem with quicker people.
But y'all not going to put it on that one kid.
Well, listen, that's the number one thing they got to clean up on that offensive line is that left tackle spot. They got to clean. I would possibly look at kicking him down the guard because he can't be on the outside.
Okay,
he cannot be on the outside.
Let's go to the other side. Y'all had the best defensive line in the country. Our offensive line dominated y'all defensive line. Dominated. What was the question about that? What was self-inflicted about that?
This is the point. The point is this. Your defensive line was all up and through the offensive line, and Jason Brown still threw more.
Still threw what? 50-some yards? 80-some yards?
I'm getting ready to pull it up right now.
Yeah, he had like 80-some yards.
And Zy McDonald had over 100 yards.
He threw 82 yards only.
Zy McDonald had that one big play where we had our third string cornerback in the game that got beat. It was about a 60-yard play. Other than that, he didn't throw that much either.
Well, that Zy McDonald needs to play some. Now, when they go to Baton Rouge, he needs to play. He and Brown.
He had a big throwing touchdown where we had our third string cornerback in the game. And he was playing man-to-man, and he got beat.
Well, he still need to play in Baton Rouge. When they go to Baton Rouge, he needs to play.
But the thing is, Mr. Ford, Mr. Zy McDonald is not a better passer than...
No, but he brings a spark. There's a spark that he brings. And right now, Jackson needs to play two people.
Jason Brown is fine. The O-line needs to hold up. That's it. Musa had an O-line and he still threw at the same percentage that he threw last year. There's no progression.
He threw better than Jason Brown.
He had an
That's all that
O-line
matters.
though, but that's my point. Like, how are you going to throw at the same percentage as you did last year, and you have an arguably better O-line? There shouldn't be an excuse for it, right? He should be throwing better.
As long as he don't throw any interceptions, I'm fine. Hell.
You fine with him missing 5 touchdown passes?
No, I'm not fine with him missing those
passes. McDonald finished 10 of 14 passing for 149 yards.
Okay, let me just say, I restate. I'm not fine with him missing those passes. That can be corrected. He was off. He was off a little bit in the game. I've seen him make those passes in practice with no issue. It's not like he can't get the job done. He had an off night. If they don't call back those 2 touchdowns, he's over 300 yards because both of those were big plays.
Well, I mean, you can't be holding. So
tell his
one of the kids missed a pass. Remember the guy at the beginning of the game? He missed a pass that was in his hands.
Right. He threw.
It was a high school kid,
and that was on time.
Yeah, that was a good throw.
That's the same guy that ran the kickoff back, and he missed that, and he used to catch those balls.
That was Riley.
Yeah, that was Riley who missed that catch.
Oh, okay, that was Riley. I'm very impressed with him. But I saw him at Bethune. He was a good boy down there too.
Yeah, but I'm saying he missed some throws. He made some throws that people dropped. So I mean,
it had to be in the first quarter because after the first quarter he was irrelevant. It had to be in the first quarter.
No, he actually missed the touchdown to when we drove down when we had that big play from the big catch from Jamari and he had a slant for Nick Dixon ran a slant and was wide open and he missed it through the ball. The ball still high on him.
Listen, let me ask you this. What grade would you give Musa for Sunday?
I give Musa probably a C-, just like you did.
That's what I said, a C-.
He didn't play well, but that's okay. We were up 28 points at the half. He didn't have to do nothing but manage the football game after that. Yeah, what y'all want him to do? Y'all want him to keep scoring 28 more?
If he's going to be player of the year, absolutely. If he's going to be player of the year, offensive player of the year, or just NCCU player of the year, yes, he needs 300 plus yards. He needs 4 touchdowns. Absolutely.
I don't see nobody.
Let me ask this question.
I don't see nobody else in the league putting up numbers either.
Let me ask you this question. So, would you, from what you saw Sunday, is he the best quarterback in the SWAC? Is Musa the best quarterback in the SWAC?
He can potentially be the best quarterback in the SWAC. Yeah, he can.
No,
I'm saying yes or no. Is he the best quarterback in the SWAC from what you saw Sunday?
I think he is. But I've seen more than what he did on Sunday. So I'm going by what I've seen him do last year and this year. But that's either here now. What I'm saying is I don't see anybody else doing any numbers that he can do this year. But we'll see at the end of the year what his numbers look like and what Jason Brown numbers look like and what everybody numbers look like. Because we'll get down to it. But everybody has
our backup quarterback came in and threw just as many yards as Musa.
Yeah, he was throwing the ball and he was throwing the ball every down too.
Significantly less time.
He was throwing the ball every down because y'all couldn't run the football.
And yeah.
So
yeah. Let me just say this. I think the SWAC HBCU football really needed this game and for FAMU to win it. If Jackson State would have won the game, I don't think that would have been good for the SWAC in a way. So now we're looking at a situation where we got a bona fide rivalry. When FAM comes up to Jackson, we probably can be looking at 40,000 plus. If the teams continue to play the way they're playing and playing good, that I think we got a true bona fide rivalry going now. So especially when it's going home and home, that should be very, very interesting. And when Jackson comes to FAMU in 25, I'm looking forward to that. But I'm going to Jackson myself to see that because I haven't seen that before. But
so you're saying Jackson? Okay, so in 24 it's in Tallahassee.
No, it's in Jackson.
It's in Jackson.
Jackson. Okay, and then 25 is in Tallahassee.
Correct. You ain't gonna see 45 at the vet. You're gonna see about 50, 55,000 at the vet. Am I lying to Mr. Campbell or not? You're gonna see about 55,000 at the vet.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They're gonna be deep, man. See, the thing about this is so just to let people know now, because this FAMU is new to the SWAC, but yeah, they'll come to Jackson because that's gonna be a good game. So yeah, they'll come to Jackson, absolutely.
Well, Mr. Campbell, what's your prediction of Jackson and Southern this Saturday? What you got?
Okay, this is easy. Southern looked horrible Saturday.
Yes,
horrible.
They did.
Bubba make
and the fact, and I'm gonna tell you what the thing was killing me about Southern people. They think that their defense is as good as Jackson State defense and FAMU defense. It ain't. Alabama State offense is just that bad. There's no way that Jackson State should lose that game from what I saw against Southern. Jackson State should easily recorrect themselves and beat Southern by 2 touchdowns without blinking. Southern is not a good football team. And I've told Southern people this for the last 2 years. Their quarterbacks are going to kill them. I told them last year when they went to Jackson, got their behind whooped, they were going to come to FAMU and get their behind whooped. It's going to be the same thing again. Southern is not a good team.
Well, let me ask you this. Does Southern have an answer in that quarterback room? I'll say that if we extract blood, is there an answer in the quarterback room at Southern?
No.
I don't see it.
No.
Like what I saw Saturday, Bubba and them, they exploited them to the fullest. They exploited Bubba. I mean, not Bubba, but Harold Blood to the fullest.
Blood
made him look pedestrian.
Whoa. No, Southern. I'm not impressed with them, and I'm not impressed with Alabama State. This is the problem, and this goes on all levels. There are not good quarterbacks in the SWAC. Just point blank, period. And Mr. Ford will get Miles Corler does look like the best quarterback in this one after week 1. He does. I'll give you that. But I think Musa, again, if Musa just stays consistent, then we'll be fine. But Harold Blood is not the answer at Southern.
So you think?
Well, then that brings the next question: how long they gonna put up with Dooley? Mr. Campbell?
Wait, all right. So here's the funny thing about Coach Dooley. Like I said, I know Coach Dooley. I met him down at Grambling. He's a great guy. See, Southern, they went to the SWAC championship this year. And here's the thing about it. Because that West is so bad, Southern can still skate around there and win those games. With a 6-5 record. Because here's the thing. The Jackson game is not a conference game. Okay? So that loss doesn't matter.
Right.
They lose to us. That's on the other side, even though it is a conference game, but that's part of the tiebreaker. If all they got to do is beat Grambling, beat Prairie View, and win one more, and then they've got to win. Well, UAPB, all they got to do is get 4 wins on their side of the bracket, and they can get 4 wins.
Listen, they ain't beating Grambling, and they're not beating Prairie View.
Where's that Prairie View game at? That game is where?
It's in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I don't know. See, and Doc, where's the Alcorn game at between Southern and Alcorn?
Southern and Alcorn is at the reservation this year.
Well, see, that might be the game that trips them up.
Yeah, the West is wide open, man. The West being wide open, and I feel like if Prairie View play like they play, the way that they play as far as running the ball, and then Conley just, just being an efficient passer as a quarterback, yeah, they'll win. Yeah. I think they'll win the West.
I think they will too. I thought they were the best team that I saw from the West Saturday. It's gonna come down to them in Grambling.
I don't know. But then too, I
will say Alcorn?
I will say about Alcorn, but Tyler Macon did not look. He was not it on Saturday.
Coming from Mizzou, coming from the
SBC, baby,
and he looked
the Power 5.
He was 0 for 5.
And G kept on talking about Jason Brown, but baby, That's not the answer.
But now they say that Southern Miss is better, right? Aren't they supposed to be really competitive? Isn't Southern Miss better?
For the Sun Belt?
Yeah.
Barely. They still got to deal with Coastal Carolina.
Okay. I thought they were much better.
Macon's first 2 throws were interceptions.
Listen, that game in Baton Rouge, is it a sellout yet?
They
It's not
said
a sellout
still
yet?
had 700 tickets left over.
For Jackson State?
Yeah.
But Baton Rouge gonna be jumping on Saturday, y'all.
Yeah, that should be. That game should be a sellout.
Cause Grambling gonna be at LSU too. So.
Oh, that's 70-0, bro. They mad too. They done got embarrassed on national TV. They running up 70 on us. Jackson, Mumford should be a sellout. That should be what, about 33,000? What's that? What that should be? What, 33?
They only seat like 28,000.
I think they might
seated more than that.
They might rent out some bleachers for that game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I remember one time Alcorn went down there at 33,000, but that was some years back though. I was thinking at least 30,000 down there Saturday night. Mr. Mona, you going down there to the capital city?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Doc, you coming up from the Lone Star State, aren't you?
Shoot, I wish I could, man. Shoot,
I'm gonna watch it on TV.
I wish I could. So,
I think this is a big.
Mr.
I think this is a big game.
I went to Alabama for the SWAC Media Day. Then I went to Atlanta for the MEAC SWAC Challenge.
Right.
Then I went to Miami this past weekend. I'm tired.
Yeah, you a trooper.
Them pockets is hurting, y'all.
You trooper, but listen, guys, I'm telling y'all, to be honest with you now, this Southern Jackson game, this is a big game. This game gonna tell us a lot about them programs now. This is a big game. This is a big game this Saturday.
We got 186 people on here, y'all. Everybody sent Timon $10 so she can get down there.
So she can come down from Charlotte, fly in from Charlotte, right?
Yes.
To Southern, I heard that Southern game is brutal.
You probably won't find a hotel if LSU got a game.
LSU got a game.
Not just that, I heard that the Southern fans are real hostile. It's a hostile environment. It's like going to war or something. They're real hostile.
That's one of the greatest legacy programs in HBCU history.
You know they are hot because they've been getting they behind whooped bad. Then they just lost last week. He needed a blood transfusion because he was getting whooped.
Hey, they never should have allowed Dawson Odoms to lead. Boy, they hadn't played right since he left.
His seat is fuego.
He threw. Listen, he'll be looking for a job.
For you to lose to
Virginia State
like that.
Yeah, man. Division II. CIAA.
Man, hey, Mr. Campbell, tell him ain't nothing better when you go to Southern, cross that hump over that bridge.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I was telling somebody this. People in Jackson, what they used to do is they would drive to the New Orleans airport and rent a car from New Orleans airport and drive from the rental car over to Baton Rouge. That's how crazy them folks were.
Well, the FAMU goes to the end of the month, the 1st of October.
Yeah,
right?
we go in October.
That's gonna be a big game.
They might
that's a huge.
They might.
But see, this again, I don't think it's a big. Well, it's a big game on paper, but I don't think Southern's that good.
They said that the kids be ready to fight.
Oh yeah.
I think listen, Southern just needs a quarterback transplant. And because they got like 7, 8 quarterbacks, somebody down there can play. Somebody is the answer. It's just a matter of making the move.
So FAMU is going to USF. You guys got to play Southern. You guys got to play Valley. And they just said they're getting ready to sweep the SWAC. And it's over.
Why you keep bringing up Valley like they some sort of juggernaut?
No, I did. No, I'm gonna say it like this. let me say it like this though, Shaka. From what I saw on Saturday, as far as what the offense goes, I mean they look better on offense this year than what they did last year. They got they got a 1-2
They lost to
combination.
Central State, man.
SIAC Division 2.
But I
They lost
told you
to
what
Central
happened.
State.
But I told you what happened when they played Central State. Special
But,
teams.
I understand that, but that's a whole different level of football. And if y'all think that we on that type of level with Central State, then y'all got us.
Didn't they beat North Carolina Central in 2021?
Yeah, but that was different though.
Yeah, that's
They always say
yeah.
it's different, but the same team
Yeah.
that North Carolina Central is today is the same one that they was in 2021.
No, but let me say something. We definitely. If you went to that game, you already know we not on Valley. Valley's not on our level. So
Hey, Doc, will FAMU go undefeated in the SWAC?
They'll have a challenge against Alabama State.
Not at home.
But I'm saying what I'm saying is it's still a challenge though. I mean, because the defense it's gonna be a defensive battle again, like I said, like it was last season. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
But now, Doc, that's a rivalry between FAMU and Southern. They say when it comes to a rivalry, you throw out the records. So you don't think Southern will get up for FAMU?
Hell no.
No.
Mr. Campbell said that FAMU always beats Southern because Southern Celebration Bowl game is basically the one against Jackson State, or like their championship game. Ain't that right, Mr. Campbell?
No, and Timona, I know you remember this because I told those Southern people exactly that. And let me tell you what they was going. These Southern folks are so worried about you all. And after you all whoop them, watch, Southern is going to go in the tank. Watch. I've told y'all this the last 2 years. I've told you this. Southern has to have a level of focus that they have not, because you cannot focus on one game like that the way they're doing it. See, for us, it was a little bit different with Jackson State. We had beaten everybody else. So we could focus on Jackson State like that. We had beaten everybody else in the SWAC, at home and on the road. So we had that single focus. Southern cannot sit back there and put all that into Jackson State because of the boom and the jukebox and the dancing dolls and the J sets and all that. Then they lose that game and then they're like, oh, yeah, okay, the season's over with. We lost to Jackson.
Well, let me ask you this question, Ms. Campbell. If you had a choice, you the AD, it's between Dawson Odoms, Eric Dooley, who would you pick?
See, I'm not one to get rid of a coach after 2 years.
I said, who would you pick? Who would be your choice?
But wait a minute now. Let me tell you what Dooley has done. He's taken Prairie View to the SWAC championship game, and he has taken Southern to the SWAC championship game. The last 2 years.
I understand that. I'm asking you, you got to make the decision. Is Dawson Odoms on one end, Eric Dooley on the other end, and you got a choice? Who would you pick?
If I have a quarterback, I'm taking Dooley. If I have this team that I got now that they have, I take Dawson Odoms because I know he can switch it up.
All right.
Dooley is a quarterback-driven coach, point blank, period. And he has said that he doesn't like a game manager. And that's clearly what Harold Blood looks like. And he can't even manage the game, obviously, because they only had 10 points.
Yeah, he's a game manager.
So, like I say, I like Dooley. I can see the potential when Dooley gets a quarterback. See, that's why Dooley and them really should have worked that portal really hard.
Right. But they did. Remember the kid left. Hey, Doc, what was that kid? Remember that boy?
They thought they had Jason Brown.
No. They had another kid. I mean, a solid, about 6'4", 220. He left and went.
Not Noah Bobby.
This kid went to Utah somewhere, didn't he? He was Southern thought they had that kid. Oh, I can't even think of the boy's name. He left and went to a FBS school. I want to say like Utah. Where's Blue at? I know Blue know who I'm talking about. This kid was gonna turn it up for him. He left.
I have to remember. I have to see about
that.
that.
It was this summer. They thought they had that kid. He was dual threat. He could run it and throw it.
Oh, they say he went to Montana.
That's right. He went to. I knew it was something like that.
Wow, Montana.
But now listen, now, Mr. Campbell, let me tell you this now. And now these people pretending they don't know this. They got two dynamic freshmen down there. One from Baton Rouge and the other one's from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm hoping they turn to one of them kids. Both of them kids can play. One's from Woodward Academy and the other one's from, I don't know if it's Southern. Doc, is it Southern Lab that kid from?
Southern Lab in Baton Rouge? I think so.
Yeah, it's two dynamic. They just freshmen. I wish they turned to one of them kids.
The boy from Atlanta is the best of the two freshmen.
Yeah, he can play. He went to Woodward Academy. That's why I say somebody down there is the answer now. Somebody's the answer.
Well, you know what they say about freshmen. They're only good until they become sophomores. So apparently they ain't the answer this year.
Yeah, I don't ever want to play a freshman quarterback, a true freshman quarterback. Yeah, no, that's not the answer.
Okay, so what's the only if your name is Shedeur Sanders? So what is your top 3 quarterbacks right now?
Shedeur Sanders was not a true freshman quarterback. He was a redshirt freshman.
No,
he was a true freshman quarterback.
He was a true freshman quarterback.
No, first of all, he was at FAU before he came to y'all.
No, he was not.
He never went there.
He never went there. He was only committed there. He drafted.
That young man never went to FAU. Didn't even see the campus. Stop it.
But he was there. Well, I think what Shaka said, he was there in the spring.
No,
on campus practicing.
No, he was not.
No, wait a minute. Shedeur was not in Texas that spring season. Shedeur was in Jackson.
He was in Jackson.
He was in
No,
He graduated.
Shedeur was not.
He
Shedeur was not
early.
a true freshman playing for y'all. Because
Shedeur had a whole. He practiced that whole with those guys.
He signed with FAU. I know this for sure.
No, he didn't sign with FAU.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Nah, put money on it, man.
He committed. Shaka.
Pull it up. Pull it up. Pull it up.
Shaka. He actually committed to. He actually committed to FAU under
Willie Taggart.
Under Taggart, and then he flipped it. He flipped his commitment to go with his dad. But he was at Jackson State going to school in the spring, but he couldn't practice just yet.
Right.
Yeah. That's how they went down. So he was Mr. Shocker. He was a true freshman. He was a true freshman.
Okay, listen to this. Why would he go in the spring and not the fall?
Because he was an early enrollee in at school. He graduated early. He literally graduated.
Yeah, he graduated early. But my point was, he was there with the offense was getting installed, and practice is all relevant. Cedric, come on now. He was tossing the football with them boys.
Oh, of course he was. Of course.
So my point was, so what my point was, and to Mr. Ford's point, what my point was, he had a better understanding of the offense because he was already there. He knew what they were trying to do, and then he had the whole summer when he practiced compared to a freshman who couldn't do that until a certain reporting date. So he had. I mean, Shedeur was advanced. So let's give the kid credit. The kid was advanced.
He was working out with Tom Brady.
I mean, I said it for years. He was the best player in the FCS. I said it, and what got me is when I actually saw him in the first game, against you guys, because he was the only one that scored a touchdown. I mean, that was a defensive struggle in 2021. I mean, it was some hitting in that game on both sides. I'm talking about Jackson State was killing, FAMU was killing, so I mean, I actually, saw glimpses of it then, but then that second week, it solidified it because you got to think he came out the gate 300 plus yards against Tennessee State. That was in 2021. And then that's when I knew then, because, of course you was hearing this is daddy's ball. This is this is that. But when I actually saw him play, I said, no, that ain't daddy's ball. That's skill.
Nah, other thing they were saying was because he played in the private school, the private school here league in Texas, that he didn't play no big competition. But I kept telling people, the Texas private schools is just as big competition, just as like a 6A and 5A school here in Texas, and they don't, and they dominated.
Yeah, I saw him beat T. Martin's son up there in Knoxville. He put about 300-400 yards on
Lauren
him.
Henry, he had over 3,000 yards.
Yeah,
One
he
was
was something.
Lauren just said that his freshman year wasn't the best, but he had over 3,000 yards. What other
The
quarterback
kid won the freshman of the year. What are we talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm
He
doing.
had
Okay, let's move on because I mean now we getting into silly season now. You know me, I don't do silly. The kid,
stuff
the
like
boy,
that,
what was
I have
the
to
award? The
jump
Jerry
on that
Rice Award?
because it's like you can have all the hate in the world, man, but good God, man, give that boy his credit, man.
He's
I mean, the kid didn't win an award just because his last name. That boy played.
I mean, give that boy the credit, man, because when the last time you seen a freshman come in and almost average 70% clip on completion? When the last time you've seen that? I mean, come on. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I get the JSU hate. I get it. But, man, don't take nothing away from Shedeur, man. Shedeur is the guy. I even said it. I even broke it down, and it came true. And Mr. Ford can tell you this. I said there's 2 quarterbacks out there that's on his level. I said it was Drake May and the Heisman Trophy winner from USC. And what happened this past weekend? Who is the third best quarterback in college football right now? Shedeur.
This past weekend?
Yeah, Shedeur.
I can't say he was the third. I can say he was the top quarterback. I can say he was the number 1 quarterback because of what he did.
Well, you could go with that, but I mean, but you still got to think about, still nuances of the game, which he has them now because he's a killer. I mean, 5'10" is 5'10", but the thing about it is, I'm not trying to jump on Lauren or anything like that, but man, come on, man, don't do that, man. Yeah, I mean, nobody has had close to 3,000 yards in the SWAC since a player like the White Tiger and Kincaid and guys like that.
What's it? Terrio? What's his name?
Terrio.
Yeah.
I definitely give Shedeur his props. He was definitely the best quarterback in the SWAC, but I can't give him that as far as the best quarterback in the nation yet until they got Utah this week, I believe.
No, they got
Nebraska, man.
They're going to win that. Nebraska ain't hitting on nothing.
They're going to blow Nebraska out.
Yeah, they're going to beat
Nebraska can't score. And their quarterback is trash.
Nebraska ain't been nothing since Lawrence. What was it? Lawrence Phillips.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Nebraska and Texas Christian they kind of remind me of how y'all were against South Carolina State. Texas Christian lost. They only had 3 players coming back from a defense that got killed last year with all the starters they had. So they really didn't. I mean, they had an offense last year, but they didn't have a defense last year. And Shedeur put up some numbers, and then they only brought back 3 people from the total team last year as far as starters. So I mean, he had a good opening game, but until
wait a minute, wait. Now he's gonna beat Nebraska. He should beat Colorado State. So he got 3 right there. Who's the next one after Colorado State?
USC,
Stanford,
Oregon.
Stanford.
Yes, Stanford, and then Oregon.
And Arizona.
He can win the next 2.
Too. He'll beat
Arizona. He can beat Arizona because he'll beat Nebraska and he'll beat Colorado State. That's so they'll owe him up 3-0.
And that's what they need. They need them type of wins to get their confidence going. But when they get down into that real Pac-12 schedule, we're gonna see what type of play he is, because it's a different beast with those type of athletes. I'm not sure what Texas Christian was trying to do, but they were horrible, man, on defense.
Both of them was horrible on defense. So
yeah. Colorado was horrible on defense too. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, Shedeur was being Shedeur. He did what he's supposed to do. I like him. I hope he make it to the league. You know what I'm saying? I really do.
I want to pose this question. Y'all said that SWAC quarterbacking is terrible. What we gonna do about that? What's the solution? Just going to get Power 5 boys or what? What's the solution?
We got to recruit better kids. That's what you got to do, man. You got to. I mean, the kids want to go Power 5. The best athletes and the best quarterbacks, they want to go Power 5. They don't want to go to black colleges. So
I just feel that if the SWAC can start keeping homegrown talent in their state, in their individual states, as far as QBs, I think it'll be a whole lot better.
Check the room.
Yeah.
And by the way, now, how's that kid looking from that transferred to Jackson State from Syracuse? Is he hurt?
Yeah, from what I heard, he's hurt.
What's his name?
Jacoby and Morgan.
Right. Okay, so he won't be available this Saturday.
No, he won't be available.
He won't be available.
No.
I'm still waiting on see what Seven gonna be able to do, man. Is he gonna be able to play?
Who is that?
Seven McGee.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Kid from Oregon. So they
that's right.
They really missed him on Sunday.
Yeah.
But somebody made a comment on this comment board about why Mo Harris kept trying to run these long routes when Jason Brown didn't have that time to throw the football. They should have been shorting up the routes and shorting up the scheme a little bit. Somebody made a comment on here. I just saw it, but it was a little while ago. I didn't get a chance to mention it. But what y'all think about that with Coach Harris? What his whole scheme as far as the game Sunday? That's the offensive coordinator for Jackson.
I mean,
offensive line issues against a great defensive line.
But he said
that's just what it was.
If you get the ball out faster, you don't have to really worry about that pressure.
Yeah. But I mean, y'all had decent DBs too.
Yeah, they do.
Decent DBs.
But the thing about what's his name, he was hurt the whole game.
Was doing, it was a great strategy by y'all DCs, because how you eliminate short routes, you jam off the line. If you go back and look at the game,
and I thought you was gonna say that they didn't do a lot of jamming on the line.
Yes, they did. If you go back and look at it, yes, y'all first string did.
Y'all first string did. Was jumping them routes.
No, Kendall Bowler was playing out the ball. I saw that myself. Even on that long ball that he got beat on in the first quarter, he was off the ball on that. He didn't play. It wasn't no straight man. It wasn't no up on the receiver. He was at least 10 yards off the ball on that play he got beat on.
John McDonald threw
the passing lane extends 10 yards, so that's a jam from 0 to 10. Yeah, 0 to 10. You can stop somebody, and that's still you can stop somebody on their route. That's still considered a jam.
Oh, well, I think they just needed to have put in Zy McDonald earlier. He threw for 10 completions out of 14 attempts. He was 71.4% completion percentage for 149 yards. They just should have put in Zy earlier.
But
I know they wanted for Jason Brown to play, but Jason Brown's finger was injured off of a play. I think like a defense rolled over on his hand or something like that. They should have just took him out, because at the end of the day, you want to preserve QB1. So if they would have put Zy McDonald in earlier, that would have thrown the defense off, because basically what you guys were looking at film wise was Jason Brown, and he's not necessarily he's a pocket passer, whereas Zy McDonald is more mobile, which is why in the second half we were able to see him moving around and being able to be more elusive, because he's able to be more like a dual threat type of quarterback.
Yeah, and we have issues.
So for me, I feel like that was something that putting him in earlier, not to send any type of message other than to preserve quarterback one, because he had an amazing game, Zy McDonald, and then Jason Brown's stats. I'm gonna have to pull those up for FAMU, but he had more than 100 yards.
Hey,
Sir,
Timon, let
that
me ask you a question though.
3889. Yeah.
Let me and you and Cedric as Jack State people, because I was listening to Zoe and Ken and they were defending. Do you not think that Coach Taylor didn't want to do that because and y'all went crazy? Y'all ready to bench Brown and not let him play anymore. And he did not want to start the quarterback controversy. That's why he wanted to let Brown go a little bit longer
I
because of exactly what's going on now.
I never thought that Jason Brown wasn't capable. The O-line just wasn't holding up. So I don't want for our QB1 to get injured just to prove a point. Take Jason Brown out because the O-line is not holding up and he hurt his hand. The left tackle's not holding up.
Yeah, to me, once you seen Brown get hurt, like that was like blood in the water for FAMU, for the defense. Like soon as he got hurt, but y'all, it's like y'all antennas went up and y'all took it to a whole nother level with your blitz package coming in on the defense. But he should have, to me, once that score got down to 28-0, then like, look, it's time for him to come out. You done what you can. Let's put in another person to see if he can jumpstart the offense and get us, to at least score something. If we didn't mishandle that snap on the field goal, it could have kind of, I wouldn't say derailed y'all offensive output, but it would have did something. But in a sense, the special teams play was just terrible. The special teams, like our special teams, was terrible. I'm not gonna lie to y'all on that. You know what I'm
Yeah, and
saying?
then they had the game plan to I mean, and you can kind of tell. You can kind of tell what FAMU's game plan was. They targeted that blind side, man. They targeted it. I
But
mean,
the also
and that was
too.
a great game plan defensively because they saw that, that blind side, that was the weak link.
But then too, they were bringing pressure up the middle also. Gentle Hunt was in the damn backfield by 4-5 times in that game, man. Like literally. You know what I'm saying? That booger right there was in the backfield 4-5 times. Like if it wasn't for a tackle for loss, he was flushing Brown JB out of the pocket. You know what I'm saying? And with JB being an actual pocket passer, he gotta have a base and have his feet set so he could throw the ball. I mean, he could, you seen glimpses he could throw the ball on the run, but to me, he's more comfortable in throwing from the pocket. You know what I'm saying? If you got that perfect pocket, like that mushroom, that mushroom perfect pocket, you know what I'm saying, for him to do, like he could literally just pick you apart just from there.
Yeah, I mean, what they did was we had an old saying, even in the ref leagues, we call those 7-on-7 guys. When you 7-on-7, a guy like Tua, a guy like Jason Brown, they gonna tell you a new one. But when that pressure comes, you got to be a little mobile. And especially coming from a scheme that kind of blends the RPO as well as the spread instead of the air raid, because you're using a run and you're using rollouts to open up your passing lanes, and then you're also catching the defense off guard when they switch their coverages and they switch their defensive packages to try to counteract it. Then you're just going up the gut. And one thing that Jackson State missed, which was a big loss to me, just I don't know how everybody else feel about it, but JD Martin not playing.
Oh yeah, that was a big one right there.
That
You
was
know
a
what I'm
big,
saying?
very big loss because I mean that's your guy that can run speed. He can run bloodshot to the outside running lanes, and then you can also use him with the passing game as well. So that kind of stymied JSU as well. But it was really, I mean, from center on over to the blind side, it just basically killed us because the center, I give him credit where credit is due. It seemed like the starting center was scared of General Hunt after about a quarter playing against him. Like he was literally like had fear in his heart over. So it was a good game plan. Like I said, and it started from targeting that blind side. Because when you target the blind side, there's a shift on your line where everybody got to cover that blind side, and that's how a lot of those gaps were opening up.
Well, said, let me tell you this, and I said this. I talked to those coaches, and they said this was the fastest defense that FAMU has had since Will has been there, and one of our fastest ever. When you had the speed that we had on that D line, you gonna make offensive linemen shake their head, and that had a lot to do with it. And to Shaka's point, it wasn't so much as bump and run, but what we did, we closed the airspace. We didn't run bail technique on our defensive backs, so we didn't bail out. So the game plan was pressure the guy up the middle and make Jason Brown make them long throws. And he hit one with Rico Powers. He hit it. So that was the game plan. So we were not going to give him time to hit those throws. And I didn't think he was going to hit those throws anyway, especially when we pushed up on those guys. Because I watched y'all when y'all played South Carolina State. And this was no disrespect. I told Zoe this. He didn't throw the ball past 8 yards. Those were quick plays that the wide receivers made plays. And I gave you guys wide receivers big credit. But if you push up on those guys, like we did, those lanes are not open where they can start shaking and baking. And that's what happened. So when I'm curious to see when Blue just talked about it, and I would love to have somebody from Southern come on here and talk about this, is Southern defense, because I think they got a good D line. Linebackers are suspect. I think they're half and half on the defensive backs. Do they try to run the same defense?
Man, I'll just put it just like this. We need to switch out of that defense. I think we should have JB should have took what the defense gave him on Sunday too. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't playing bailout, if it's short, man, just throw it short. Like, we didn't utilize our tight ends a lot either in the game, in this game either. So DJ Stephen couldn't get off the line, and you had to put an APB out on Jency. But I just think you should have just took what the defense gave you.
But see, Doc, you can't. Let me tell you something. And this goes by I try to tell people, and I tease up about this. Well, we ain't show anything. When you see one game, that gives you something. And I'm gonna tell you that little tight end boot action that y'all were running and getting those big plays. Well, you can't run that boot action if you can't run the ball. But that's how you set that play up.
That's true.
So the play is predicated on it looking like a run. Then the quarterback wheels out. You got the guys coming upfield, and he's sitting there. You guys couldn't run the ball. That killed that play. Y'all got that play one time. And I was sitting watching it, waiting for that play to come. And you guys got that play one time. But you can't run the ball. So that play you couldn't run it like you could run against South Carolina State.
Well, is it the third year in a row where we had issues on our offensive line? I think it's something that we can, you can adjust, you can fix it. It can be fixed. But we just, to me, that it, like I said, that left side is got to be fixed. We got to have that fixed for real.
Hey, Doc, one thing, let me just, Granny asked how the FAMU 23 team would have done against the JSU 22 team. That JSU 22 team was stacked.
Yeah.
That was one of the most talented JSU teams ever. Y'all, if Shedeur is the quarterback of the JSU team and Travis Hunter is on that team, it's a different game.
He's not injured and he's playing.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep it 100. But I tell you what, we wouldn't lose about 59-3 either because our defense is much better than it was last year. It would have been a competitive game, but you guys, you had more talent. So it's no secret y'all had more talent. That's not anybody. I mean, y'all had more talent. That's a fact. That's a fact. So no, FAMU's team this year is not as good as Jackson State's team from last year. But guess what? FAMU team this year is better than Jackson State's team this year, and that's what counts.
Well, I give you that on that. I'll give you that. Like I said, I already told y'all. Man, I told everybody, hey, y'all have played a great game on Sunday. It was good to be around some alum from Jackson State and from FAMU because it was a joint thing here in Dallas. Like I said, right now, better team won. We just gotta go back in the lab and do a little bit of correcting here and there, and we should be fine for Saturday. But yeah, got Mr. Willie Little up in here talking about Prairie View, the Panthers. I think who do y'all play next week? Or do y'all play Abilene? I think they play Abilene Christian next week.
They won't win that game.
I don't know, because Abilene Christian didn't look too well this past weekend either.
I just think Prairie View's defense, well, they just go out and tighten up.
It does. Now they got it. Now I'm gonna tell you this: they do got a two-headed monster with Antoine and Caleb Johnson at running back. And if Trayvon stays the quarterback that he was this past Saturday, and it brings it into the game this weekend, they'll get the victory.
Hey, I'm gonna ask you a question. This is something off topic. Did y'all see the SWAC honors this week?
The offensive, defensive.
Yeah, and the special teams and all that.
Well, of course they gave Marcus Riley special teams. Hell, y'all.
Yeah, but I saw that. But why did they give him SWAC newcomer of the year? I mean, newcomer of the week. How did you get a new? He was in the SWAC last year.
I don't know, man. That's on the conference right there. I don't know. I don't know, man.
I was looking at that and I was like, I'm just trying to figure out how they give him SWAC newcomer, and he was in the SWAC last year. But it was confusing to me. I don't know how they determine that.
That's because he played Bethune and everybody forgot about Bethune.
They forgot Bethune was in the SWAC.
They've totally forgotten about Bethune.
Well, like he came from an FCS program or so. I mean, like he came from a different program. Like, how you get SWAC newcomer and SWAC special teams player of the week? But that's something different. I don't know what's going on in the conference.
Well, of course they gave Bubba Adams defensive player of the week.
And they gave the quarterback from Prairie View the offensive player?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an interesting conversation, even though it became about FAMU versus Jackson State for the most part. I'm going to let y'all rock with that. I thank everybody for tuning in and giving us their take. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I have so many snakes in the chat and on my live, but it was great to see you all come here so y'all can brag different. We'll see how week 3 plays out.
Timona, when are we gonna do score predictions for this week?
You want to do them now?
It's up to y'all.
Yeah, Timona, are you doing a breakdown of the Southern game, or this was your breakdown talking about something and we just took it over?
Of Southern game. Southern?
This was supposed to be about her whole.
No, this was supposed to be about my polls that I put up this week that people were in an uproar about. But it became about I guess it became about the
Sunday's game.
State versus FAMU because I was in Miami and I didn't show up on my live. I mean, I had a live It was Doc Holliday and She Loves Thee. I still had it. I just wasn't in attendance
Your
because
fans wanted to see you, Timona. They wanted to hear your voice.
they wanted to hear me what? I know they wasn't expecting for me to say that we didn't know, because I knew. I said, and I quote, FAMU will be running the ball. They recruited some running backs. They will be running the ball. And I also said that whoever capitalized on mistakes, you can watch the OG Strike Zone a couple of hours before the game. I said, whichever team capitalizes on the mistakes of the other team is the one that's going to win.
But what did you say before that? During the
It
week.
don't matter what I said before that. It's what matters is what I said of my analysis of what are the players to watch, which I bought up the BCU transfer. I also bought up that they are going. I said FAMU will be running the ball. What do you need to do when there's people running the ball? You need to be putting 5 up at the front, 4 up at the front. You need to be stacking that front so they're not running. I said that on my pre-game show, not even an hour before the game start. I said, and I'm gonna actually post that clip. I'm gonna clip it tomorrow so that you guys can see it. I clipped it.
If they would have stacked the box, they would have had to play us man to man all over the field, and they would have really got lit up then.
Not the way Musa was playing. Once they started blitzing, Doyle and Reynolds was all over him. That's what they should have been doing the whole game, blitzing. I didn't disappear though, because yesterday I was trying to travel back home from Miami with a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old. And so no, I didn't disappear. I'm still here.
Well, I'm gonna give you my prediction. I don't know if you're gonna do another show, but I'm saying Jackson State 24, Southern 17. That's my prediction.
I'm doing one tomorrow.
Okay, what about FAMU? What about FAMU, Mr. Campbell? You think they can pull an upset against USF?
Well, listen, if Musa had to hit those throws Sunday, I would say, yeah, we had a shot. So I think he's still going to have to work the kinks out. I think we'll be close, because what was that? We played South Florida once before, and it was pretty close. What was that, 2 years ago? We played them? Or that was University of Tampa? I can't remember. Might have been 2 years ago. But no, I think that game, it'll be 31. I think it'll be 31-21 their way.
What? I want to play FAMU money line. Shoot.
My JSU Southern scores JSU 31, Southern 14. My FAMU prediction this week is that we win by a touchdown. Not sure how we're going to do it, but I just think we're going to win by a touchdown. South Florida lost to West Kentucky 41-24 or something last weekend. I'm not sure about their offense yet. I don't think they're sure about what their quarterback can really do. I know he can run the football, but we'll see. We'll see how the matchup look.
Well, the South Florida Bulls already lost one game.
Yeah, they lost to West Kentucky.
They lost to 24-41. They've actually haven't won a game. They haven't won their last 5 games. Even from last year, they lost.
That's crazy.
If Musa hit those throws, we'll win the game.
What happened?
Yeah,
I said Musa can hit those throws, we'll win the game.
He definitely has to have a better game, for us to win.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking FAMU money line. Absolutely.
Sam, what you got for Southern and JSU?
Unc, I got with the beat down from the other day, I got TC going back to the lab, getting the troop back together. I think it's gonna be, I'm gonna say Jackson State 42. And sorry about the beeping, and I got high ceilings, so I gotta get a ladder to change all this stuff out. I had somebody come change it out for me. But anyway, I got Jackson State 42, Southern 7.
Woo!
And I got FAMU 31-28. I think FAMU, I think with the beef that they have, the trenches that they have, I think USF is gonna get a heavy dosage of those 6'2", 235, 6'1", 225. I just think they're gonna get a heavy dosage of that. Yep. And I think being that the guy from USF is a mobile kind of guy, but they don't have the weapons. They don't have the weapons on the exterior that I like. I mean, they're pretty good, but to be honest, they're not even fast. They're not better than the guys at FAM. So I got them in an upset. That's my prediction.
Doc, what you got?
We go to that little school, what they call say on the bluff, down there down 55. I don't know which blue they gonna wear this weekend. I don't know if it's gonna be dark blue or powder blue. You know what I'm saying? They look like baby shower colors. That's my joke for today for Southern. But I got Jackson State winning the game 31-20. 31-20.
Oh, that's a good one. I would say Jackson State by 40, as per usual. I would like to put another egg drop on Southern. I'm gonna do a breakdown of Southern, which technically I've already done it. Maybe I'll just post my old one. But the only problem is Carl Ligon, which is a running back that was at Southern. He is not playing this year. And then we seen Blood and how he played last week. So this is gonna be a big matchup just because it's Southern's. Well, it'll be their fourth time in a row of losing to Jackson State
in the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's gonna be a heavy game, y'all. But I'll be doing a Southern pregame, and I'm staying at home for this Southern game. I'm not going nowhere. So we're gonna have a live chat going during the game, and it'll be great.
Man, let me say one last thing too. And Southern people, if whatever happens, see how FAMU people being respectable on this live. If y'all call in this young lady show, this is what we expect y'all to do. All right, because y'all acted up the last time she was with y'all.
Ooh, didn't they act a fool?
Yeah, so I'm gonna put it out there. So Southern people, I know y'all like to act up, but don't come on this young lady live acting up like y'all did the other night, because there's gonna be a whole bunch of other folks, the Jack State folks, backing her up.
Oh, I don't think they'll act like that on my own show. Maybe somebody else's, but not on mine.
All right, so, I got one last thing though, and then I know, but can y'all uniforms? Y'all in Miami, why y'all didn't go with all white with a blue helmet and a white face mask? Y'all should have been Miami cool. Like what was that, y'all?
Y'all are really dragging these uniforms, knowing darn well if Prime came out with it, you would say it was the best thing.
No. Prime was
What was wrong with the uniform?
Come on, man. Listen. Now, come on. Y'all been around. I'm from Jackson. You cannot. Jackson State got one of the prettiest. That blue and white is. You could do so much with that. That blue and white. Blue and white just look good together. Period. That's the reason why it's on the American flag. And for what? Come on, man. Listen. Come on, y'all. I'm just telling you. So y'all we giving y'all the Orange Blossom Classic. So when y'all come back down to Miami, you in Miami, I want y'all to be in all white with the original JSU block blue helmet and white face mask. That's what y'all need to do. Don't do that no more.
Well,
don't do that no more.
You're trying to bring back the days of Big Daddy Carson, then, man.
Bro, listen, listen, man. I come from that era.
Folks drag that uniform into the mud. The uniforms were not that bad. Like
No, that uniform. No, that. Listen,
That uniform
that was
was
horrible.
bad.
And the thing, and what I'm gonna tell you, what made it bad is like the name. You had that block and the name color, and it that just. I'm sorry.
was
I
it
hated those
bad,
chrome
Mr.
helmets, but I hated these uniforms worse than chrome helmets. Because them chrome helmets just didn't represent Jackson State. That wasn't Jackson State at all. I got that. But this, I'm sorry.
Was it?
Listen,
Was it
TC
like
from
it
Jackson
was like
State.
an
He know better.
infrared?
Don't
It was
TC.
like an
Come on, coach.
infrared that was a red, like an infrared.
Bruh, I don't know what it was. But when
I
you
was
sitting
trying
there
to look
live
that up.
looking at it, it wasn't working. I'm telling you, if the JSU had came out in them clean white, all white, with that old school helmet, and then put the white face mask on, man, that would have hit. But I'm sorry, I just had to say that because my mama called me all the way. My mom was sitting there, what is Jackson State got? I said, I have no idea.
What was it? Was it the gray or was it the dark blue
I
name?
could deal with the gray. I mean, the blue over gray shoes. It made me sound like I'm on the Swisher House CD.
Well, it just, to me, in my humble opinion, it just made our players look like, y'all remember that video game back in the day, and they made a movie about it called Tron. Remember that? They look like them Tron uniforms, man. I was just like, I mean, Coach Prime did tell us something good, like when you look good, you play good. So that's another analysis. Maybe we just didn't play good because we didn't look good, Mr. Cap.
Bro, listen, I'm just saying, and like I said, I'm not trying because I don't care nothing about what going on in Colorado. But them whites that Colorado had Saturday, them things was clean. That white was so clean. And that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, if in Miami, because again, you wear white in Miami, that's just kind of a thing anyway. So if y'all would have came out there in that all white, it just would have been clean, man. So yeah, y'all, those are the ones. Don't bring those back out no more. Don't bring those back out anymore.
Okay.
All right, I'm sorry. I just had to get that off my chest.
So basically,
I guess because we had, what I'm saying, when Jackson State put on them uniforms, it's like that little swagger. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of see it and feel it. You know what I'm saying? But today, I mean, Sunday, it was just like.
well, to Mr. Campbell's point, because he did say the Blue Blossom Classic shirts will be going on sale and be shipped to Africa. I just wanted to let him know that regardless of win or lose, those Blue Blossom Classic shirts, number one, Mr. Merch Pack in the chat, he didn't put a year on it, so we can wear them next year if we wanted to. And number two, it still is win or lose the Blue Blossom Classic, so we can actually still wear those
I told you if y'all
shirts.
waited
And
out the game, you could have got 5 for $10. I told y'all that.
thank you, Mr. Merch Pack, for not putting a year on it, because it's still gonna be the Blue Blossom Classic. So
We need to know who y'all gonna play.
it's a secret.
That's what I want to know.
It's a secret.
Yeah, it's a secret because y'all can't find nobody. That's why it's a secret, because they can't find nobody gonna bring any fans.
Ooh.
Right. Yeah.
And they right there scraping the bottom of the barrel. I'm telling you, y'all better figure out a way to get Tennessee State down there.
Ooh, why would you say that?
Because listen, it's just a fact. Because let me tell you something about, and we all know about black folks. Black folks like to brag when they got their shit together.
Well,
and if they would have had that team and ready to go, they would have announced it as soon as that game was over.
They were supposed to announce it.
Exactly. That means they don't have a team.
Well, listen, maybe they just wanted to wait a little bit longer. I don't know. But I will say this, it's still gonna be the Blue Blossom Classic. I know that much.
They going, you know what, y'all gonna end up playing Bethune-Cookman. That's who it's gonna be, FAMU and Bethune. That's gonna be the game.
Well, I will say this, and this is just I guess I need to have another live about this, and it's about home games, attendance, and classics. There is no way on God's green earth that a person can go. I mean, just if you're just financially sound, that's fine. But there's no way on God's green earth you can go from Atlanta to Miami, to Baton Rouge, and to Texas and make the home game. It's just not possible. It's not economically sound for most fans to be able to do that. I'm hoping that they'll fix it. Usually
Well,
we
that'll
don't
be y'all
have,
first game. That'll be y'all first game going forward. So y'all won't have a problem. That'll be y'all first game.
right, but usually we don't have the Boombox Classic this early. But usually the reason why Jackson State fans are able to go to the Southern Heritage Classic and then the Boombox Classic, and then you got the home and home between Alcorn and Jackson State, is because
Proximity.
number one, it's centrally located to where if you need to make it just a day game, you can make it a day game, and you don't have to necessarily spend the night there. You can just get everybody chip in $10 and bring you $50 plus your ticket, and you'll have a nice time in both the Southern game and the Southern Heritage Classic. But the Miami game, oh, you're gonna come up out them pockets, and you still might be waiting for your for them to release the money off of your card going into the
Sure.
next week.
Sure. If I go to Miami for that game, I got to become a dope dealer just to get the money for that, man.
Miss
Sure.
Tyra Lynn, you said it will not be North Carolina A&T. Somebody
Yeah, no,
said it's
the North
North.
Carolina, they already booked. That was already discussed. They're booked out for the next 4 years on that weekend.
We
Yeah,
don't
that
want to.
AD done. That AD did his due diligence to make sure they got their schedule out.
It's North Carolina Central. What you think about that, Mr. Campbell?
I don't think Central travels like that.
They don't.
I like
Don't nobody in the MEAC travel like that.
Well, what I'm saying is the team that would bring people because of the relationship actually would be Howard. Howard people got money to bounce down there to Miami and do it big because Puffy would have a bunch of parties and all that. Now that would be a good weekend. If that was Howard, because that New York DC corridor would be in full force down to Miami.
I agree. Now that game there would be a sellout for and you can
Because
call it
Puffy would take that thing
the battle
over.
of the Mecca. Who gonna be called the Mecca? So yeah,
Puffy would be the grand marshal. Maybe he might give y'all another $1 million.
Sure. We'll take it. No, we don't turn down no good money like that.
Or maybe he'll give us some of that old bad boy publishing like he been handed out lately.
So anyway, Mr. Campbell owes me a bottle of Casamigos Reposado.
Well, I'm gonna make sure of that. Hey, Sam, you know what? This is what I want you to do because Timona's coming down for homecoming. I'm gonna get with you because I got your number. I'm gonna make sure you take care of her for that Casamigo she just asked for.
I got you. When are you going to FAMU homecoming? When is it?
That's the 29th
of
October.
Because
somebody said Howard don't support football.
We agreed to go to the Magic City, so we might need to change that and just go to FAMU.
The hotel room is like $9,000. Don't do yourself like that.
Talking about the Magic City Classic.
I
thought that's what we agreed we was gonna go this year. Well, if not, if we not going there, then I'll come to FAMU homecoming.
I'm just saying, you let me know because them rooms are like $900 down in Tallahassee.
Which you got a Airbnb or you got a crib down
there?
No,
I got a hotel room.
You said the hotel room's $900.
Listen, it's crazy. Because Tallahassee not a big city.
Especially if Florida State ain't playing that weekend either.
Yeah, it's not a big city. It's not. They don't have a surplus of hotel room. And the problem is there's no, like how Jackson has, municipalities that are surrounding Jackson Metro. There's no Tallahassee Metro.
It's just Tallahassee, or you take
It's just Tallahassee. You can stay in Pearl and Byram and all the way up in Madison and all that stuff.
Somebody said
Flowood.
they'll stay in some of those crack houses that T-Pain has that he always talks about for $900 a night. That's called exploitation. Y'all need to get with the city council or whoever and get that fixed, because that don't make no sense.
Magic City in Birmingham, not the club Magic City in Atlanta.
They thinking you was talking about going to the Magic City strip club.
Nah, I ain't
No,
going.
it was.
Not the
We were
Magic
talking about the
City
Magic
Classic
City
in
Classic, man.
Birmingham.
I've been to now. Don't get me wrong. I've been to Magic City when I was in my 20s, man. You know, it was right across the street from the MARTA in the Greyhound station. So, hey, you go over there and look at something, get you some lemon pepper wings, and get on the bus.
Blue Bud said he'll be sleeping at Love's or Pilot truck stop before dropping $900 on a
Look,
damn.
it's a FAMU people that are sleeping at Love's and Pilot coming down. What is that? Wherever that little highway is down from South Georgia. Trust me.
Now, Blue, if you got access to an 18-wheeler, you count me in there for 9,000 a night or whatever he was saying. Good God.
Oh,
yeah, I actually work in hotels in Tallahassee, and the reason why they hike up these prices because Florida State fans pay it with no problem. And,
but Florida State ain't playing that weekend, are they?
A lot of times we do have games on the same weekend. I'm not sure if they. Usually when it's that high, they do have a game. But usually it's around if it's just a family game by itself, the rate is usually around $300 or $400. But homecoming is always going to be high because they know they can get it on homecoming. But yeah, I work for a 5-star hotel, and that's what we do. That's what we do. And they get it. They get it every year.
Well, I know this year I took off so I could go to the state fair classes. I ain't got to go to work. I could have all my money collected and eat all the fair food that I want, and then go watch a good ass football game. Hey, spend about 20 tickets just to get a turkey leg. And if y'all ever in Dallas, y'all need to come to the state fair. Come to the state fair of Texas in Dallas, man. Y'all have so much fun.
All right, though. So it looks like we're gonna end the chat because it's almost midnight. I think this was a beautiful live, great commentary. Thanks for the Rattlers for coming over here and sharing their piece. Hopefully, this was enough redemption for them to brag different.
I love.
Oh yeah, we good, and we want Jack State to win every one of their games so they can feel our pain. So yeah, so we rooting for y'all. Trust me.
All right. I'm gonna close out the chat, and we will see you later on this week, me and Doc. So make sure you like and subscribe, and if you feel led, make a donation to the chat. Yeah, or excuse me, my channel. Thank you guys for tuning in.